Hello, everybody. Hi, it's me, John. I'm here. Hello, everyone. We are recording another episode of the Gamesline podcast. Today, we got a full house. We have 4 genius gamers ready to talk about gaming. I'm one of them. Hello, John. With me this time, to my... well, it's to my left, but I guess on the screen it's to my right, is Lily. Hello, Lily.
Hello. Or should I say, howdy?
You can say howdy if you want. I can't stop you.
Okay, I mean, as long as you're not stopping me.
I can't. I know I can't. So I'm just standing down now. To my bottom left, to my right, to it's just to audience right. We've got Rose. Rose, you're here.
Buongiorno. Hi. Yeah, I'm here. Video games. Woo!
Video games. I did just realize that your character there has like a dragon brooch. I haven't noticed that until right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Layers. New
It's
layers.
it's my beloved dragon dad from Final Fantasy XIV.
Good to know. And then below is Crystal. Crystal, how are you today?
Hey, I'm Goku.
I don't know if that's true, but I can't disprove it.
Yeah, I
I
can't
don't
fully
have enough evidence to dispute it.
I can't fully disprove any of this, but I also just don't think that you should be lying on this podcast. It would be good to tell the truth. So if you are Goku, then prove it by doing an instant transmission right now. Goku's gone. We don't even know. Okay, all right.
Again, I think you just got it. It just fucking happened.
Right,
you got what you wanted.
All right.
Well, now that we're down a member of the podcast, look what you've done.
All right, yeah, that's my bad. I apologize.
Guys, Goku was just in my fucking house.
Oh my god.
Crystal, you're here now. It was kind of crazy that Goku did sound exactly like you, but also that he was in your house and he did the instant transmission, which he learned from the those on the Yard Yap planet. I do know that much. So,
Crystal, you seem like the kind of person that would steal Goku's flying cloud.
I don't think I'm pure enough of heart to steal the flying Nimbus.
I was gonna
You don't
say,
think so?
I don't know anyone who is.
I'm corrupt.
We've all got a little evil.
So are we
within.
all?
Mm-hmm. Evil within too. Like the game.
It's a beautiful game. Again, I don't. If you've never played that game, I'm just always thinking about the ending scene. It's so out of nowhere. It doesn't mean anything. Beautifully acted.
I hate when I've entered the horror dimension and my wife is slowly turning into goop.
See, that's the first game.
And the second
one is like his daughter or something, I think.
More goop, more problems.
There is also the goop wife is in the second one.
Oh, I guess that's true. I just always think of the serial killer who's very gay.
God. So, gamers, once again, we are here. We are ready to speak on gaming. And we've got a whole lot of stuff to talk about here. I'm going to try my best to pull up videos as we go, because if I try to pull everything up all at once, my computer is going to die. So, let's see here. Does anyone want to volunteer to talk about something first? Do we want to hit some news first? Do we want me to do it because I'm the podcast host and I'm supposed to be the one making choices?
Fine, I can
to make this choice.
I can see that the writing's on the wall. Rose can do it.
Okay. Hi.
All right, you know what? Yeah, I was told to do it, Rose. So you got to do it now. Rose, why don't you tell us about something that you've been gaming on? What's new? What's gaming? What you got going on?
Oh, sure. So just real quick, because this one was follow up on last time I was on the podcast. I said I was playing Death Stranding 2. I 100%ed Death Stranding 2 now.
Wonderful. How do you feel about it now that you have 100%ed it?
I think that even if you can still feel his soul and spirit shine through, this is the most that Kojima has given in to either, I don't know if it's playtesting or a demon in his ear to make things more accessible. But
Which is surprising because he was banging that drum like the whole time before this game came out. Like, no, we had to go back and make the game more unforgiving to people. And it's like, no, actually, it sounds like
I don't think he did.
Yeah, you did the opposite, it sounds like.
And in some ways, it's beautiful. Like, very light spoilers, but you get like halfway through that game, and they just give you the ability to start catching the BTs like Pokemon.
Okay.
And then, so then every time you just get into a BT zone, you can just summon a Pokemon, and they do a giant kaiju fight with old Godzilla music playing.
That's pretty good.
It's good, but then again, that is like one more layer of friction removed even more from an already much more easy game. So it's just a lot of stuff like that. That's like, you can tell his ideas are beautiful, but in the end, it's just like, all right. The story was much better than Death Stranding 1, though. I will say that.
What makes it
much
better?
It had much more cohesion. It had characters. It wasn't misogynist anymore, which was nice.
Big step.
Big step.
That was a huge step for him. I was very impressed. I think even when women characters die in this, it doesn't feel as based in the exploitation genre as most of his works are. It feels much more natural and like any other character dying. I don't know. He just had. I don't know if Licorice Recoil somehow cured him or something.
Maybe
that's what it almost feels like, because there's like multiple characters in that game. Rainy, I would say like Rainy is like the most cracked power skilled character in that entire universe, because she just makes healing rain. And it's like, he would never do that to a woman before this game.
The rain used to be evil, and now there's good rain from a lady.
From a lady. But yeah, I was very impressed by how consistent it was while still keeping Kojima isms. I do wish that it had maybe like a bit more in the middle part of the game, because you do just sort of go into the delivery fugue, which is what happens in the first game as well. So it's not that different, but there is at least more story moments. But I'd say like overall, like he just told the story a lot better in a way that, especially with the addition of a more elaborate wiki thing you can look at, the corpus. I think that's in the first game, but it's like way more fleshed out in this one. And it pops up in the middle of cutscenes telling you keywords and stuff like that. I think that's very useful for his like weird out there sci-fi ideas. But yeah, it's just too easy of a game is the real only problem I had with it. It's way too easy. And I think that the structure of it is also a little whack when you're doing the 100%ing specifically. Because ideally, you just create a bunch of missions for each place, and then doing those missions naturally will complete your friendship meter or something with them, right? That's how you would design it theoretically. But instead, he has created this odd thing where it's like, no, I want you to do orders at places you've already maxed out, because this will inexplicably unlock an order at another location. But also, I'm going to stop giving you any orders for this location. So you just have to sort of drive around the entire continent looking for packages for this place. It's just this weird vibe. It's a weird game, honestly. Like but I don't think in any of the ways he thinks it is.
Right.
Like I think it is a very normal AAA game, all things considered. It's just it has any amount of interest in scene direction,
right,
and concepts versus something like a Horizon Zero Dawn. But I'd still recommend it. I think it's a lot of fun, especially narratively. Like Dollman is insane. I think Dollman is a bad person, and I really liked Tomorrow, the Ellie Fanning character. Really fun stuff.
Why is Dollman so bad?
He says a lot of questionable things. I think I said initially, there's a bunch of books you can read in Sam Porter Bridges' room, like Moby Dick and Dracula and stuff like that. When you read Moby Dick, he says that Moby Dick is an inspiring story of a multinational group of people coming together for a grand purpose under one great leader.
Yeah, I guess.
Which
so.
he then compares to Kojima Productions.
He's so good at reading.
And then when you read Dracula, he just starts going into insane true crime stuff. And I was just like, or it was Frankenstein. I think it was Frankenstein, but he was talking about Dracula because I think they were made around the same time or something.
So you're saying that the full text of Moby Dick and Dracula are in game?
No, it's Norman Reedus reading them, and he looks like he's trying really hard to read them. And while he's reading them completely silently, Dollman is in the corner just saying random shit. And it's really disconcerting. There's also like Dollman's backstory is questionable to say the least. So I will say that, but I don't want to get into that's like end of the game spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was just something where it's like early on I was like, Dollman, what a ridiculous character. And then as it kept going, I was like, Dollman keeps saying things that I do not agree with.
Dollman's a little off the shits.
I don't know if I'm on Dollman's side anymore.
God. All right.
Let me ask you this: with the Moby Dick inspirations of the game, how is the LGBT content?
Okay, so if we're talking like raw textual, like people saying they're gay, I think he has added and improved upon the director's cut of Death Stranding did this too, where the initial game had like weird statements about asexuality.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he cleaned that up in the director's cut, and that has maintained here. And there are a couple random lines here and there about gay people. If we're talking just raw truth,
okay,
in the average Kojima world, pretty fucking high. I'm not going to lie to you. The final boss battle is the shirtless fight, just like Metal Gear Solid 4. But they're I'm trying to think of a polite word to use. They are mashing their guitar heads together.
Interesting. So he does understand Moby Dick.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. There is, without getting, I don't want to spoil too much because I think like the big pop off moments of this game are like so fucking good. But there is a microwave hallway that may be the best he's ever done. By which I just mean like a sequence where you walk very slowly and are constrained by some sort of torture situation. Beautiful stuff. And also in that big final boss battle, there is a part where you have to do the like beam fighting back each other, but it's just jamming on your guitar better than the other guy.
Holy crap.
That's and good. You're like just mashing the button and watching them like clash. It's beautiful. Mm-hmm. I think that's the big win of Death Stranding 2 is I think that they made Higgs way better. Higgs as a main antagonist of the first game, who's back in this one. Mm-hmm. It's entirely by just upping his gay quotient a substantial amount. They upped it so much by making him a yandere. You change everything.
I see.
So it sounds like this game is drawing a lot from MGS4 then?
In a sense, it's like if MGS4 didn't hate women.
Oh, that'd be a better game.
It was a better game. I liked it a lot. I would say like gameplay wise, I like Death Stranding 1 way more, but a lot of those issues I had with how he writes women in Death Stranding 1, specifically Fragile and like Mama as an example, really brought it down for me. Mm-hmm. And then this game had none of that. It had none of it. So I was just like, all right, you know what?
It works.
I got to hand it to him. So I kind of came away more positive overall because of that, I think.
Awesome. Okay. Good to hear.
Yeah. Don't 100% this game, though. Just a message to anyone out there. Don't. It's too long. Okay. It's like I said, like eventually you reach a point where you just have to drive around everywhere looking for a package hidden under a nook in a mountain.
Okay.
And then drive it all the way to the other side of the continent again. Australia's a big place.
That's true.
Also, the RRR man, he just keeps running away, and then you have to save him. And it happens like 7 times. And every time he does a thumbs up, like it's okay. It's not okay.
Okay. He's got to stop it.
His son is worried.
We're worried. Norman Reedus is worried. Come on. Lily, since you hoisted this onto Rose, I'm going to now hoist it onto you. What have you been playing? What's going on in your neck of the woods?
So this kind of starts with a story. I have been kind of out of the. I used to be a really, really, really big player of Counter-Strike,
That's scary.
which right now feels like I'm at a AAA meeting. But I stopped. I've been clean for years. Um and I haven't really had much of an urge to play like a ton of like multiplayer FPSs.
Mhm.
Like we have our BR like Fortnite, Apex kind of zeitgeist going on still, and that kind of gave way to extraction shooters, and none of that super compels me in any meaningful way. And my friend group that I occupy outside of the podcast, believe it or not, John does not like fold me up and then like put me in the closet whenever the podcast is over. But the friend group I have outside of the podcast, one particular person basically said, "Hey, do you guys want to start playing Fistful of Frags?" Oh no, this video. But Fistful of Frags is like I know I've talked about like Struffdot in here before, but like this game is like one of the stupidest multiplayer FPSs I've played in a very long time.
It's real
And the
goofy.
reason I like I brought up Counter-Strike is like it is weird, unreliable aim, like fucked up like CS source first person shooter where half the time your gun is not a reliable like means of dealing with combat, and you play a game where they give everyone access to an item where if they punch you your gun goes flying out of your hands and they can grab your gun from you. You can have boots that make it so your kick is way stronger, and so you basically have people playing like Force of Nature scouts everywhere, except with kicking. And I didn't think that I could get into an FPS again, but it's really weird in like that same kind of way that like when a game has like an actual server browser and it has the ability to stay alive past it being like the cultural norm,
The flash pan, yeah.
you have this ability for games to exist even if other people are bored with it. And it's really weird where you'll be playing and you'll be like, oh, well, there's only like 7 people online. And then you join and then you realize, oh, 8 people in a game like this is absolutely enough. And people absolutely will join on you and it will become an absolute clown show. And it is the most fun I've had in like a multiplayer FPS, like with randos, like not playing with people I actually know in a while, precisely because like that game refuses at basically every junction an ability to take it seriously. Like part of like what makes Counter-Strike and games like it so frustrating is like this false belief in perfect information where you think to yourself, oh, if I just did XYZ action a little better, I wouldn't have died there, or that round would have gone better. And the illusion we tell ourselves of that like meritocracy that we could just do better if we tried, completely removed from you in this game. Your gun has a 62% chance to hit, and the other percent of the time it's going somewhere, nowhere in particular.
That is the fascinating thing to me. Is it? You said before that it felt like XCOM, and I'm really. It really is true. Like even in my memory, if I haven't played that game in like probably 9 years or something like that, And I just remember vividly just you walking up with a revolver and it's like, where did I shoot? Genuinely, where did I shoot? I do not know.
You can put the gun literally in someone's mouth
Yeah,
sometimes,
it
and
doesn't matter.
it will find a way to not register, and then he will kick you twice, and there's nothing you can do about it, and then you're dead. And it's like it's that one thing where it's because it sucks, because it is not like a perfectly cut gem with all of the edges filed off. I'm having a better time because I don't need to care as much if it were a more polished thing.
That is true. There is like this like dissonance, right? When it is something like this where it feels like it cost $5 to be made.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if Halo Infinite was doing this, I would be pissed off.
Well, like that's exactly it. Like where you're like, okay, so it's completely fine that a person can get on a horse in this game, and horses are completely bulletproof, and you can basically you just have a horse-shaped riot shield that you can run people over with, and it controls like a car, so you can just Tokyo drift a horse like in circles with perfect turn radiuses. So when you step out of the bank having spent all of your in-game resources to buy like the best pistol in the game, and then someone runs you over, and then you just get Gmod collision glitched, crushed into the sliding doors, and you're dead, and then the character just goes yeehaw as they ride by, you can't be mad about that because
really
it's
can't.
just you know that that has happened 100 times to
Yeah.
everyone else in here.
You learn the rules of this world.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like this game is more about just like existing in the chaos rather than winning.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing is, like the game kind of defies like traditional, like just get a lot of kills, because certain weapons give you less points. And so yeah, you could theoretically pick like a weapon combination that gives you the most points, but it's kind of like trying to be the best clown in the clown circus. At the end of the day, the game is so difficult to control in the first place that it's hard to care that, you know, some guy who's no lifing in Fistful of Frags for some inconceivable reason has beaten you. It's like, okay, you got 700 points and I got 300, but also uh I watched a man get exploded by dynamite so hard that it whipped both of his guns out of his hands, and I caught both of them, didn't hit a single shot with either of them, and then I got kicked off a moving train.
Yeah, it sounds like a good ass game, you know, just the kind of insane content that the FPS gamers crave.
We need this is an honest to goodness like call to action here. We need more games that are shenanigans engines, and we need to stop being esports. Please.
I big agree.
When initial Splitgate came out, it felt real shenanigans core, and I was like way into it, and then it feels like they immediately lost the grace of God, like within months of it coming out.
I mean, again, games at the end of the day, like, I understand the commerce behind wanting a game to be esports, but you also have to understand that at the end of the day, games are a means for entertaining ourselves, and we shouldn't be like, I don't know, like, you shouldn't be like at work stressed out thinking, like, oh man, this is a lot of good Counter-Strike practice time I'm wasting right now. Anyway, that's what I've been primarily playing, and in between, you know, writing a review. So I want you to imagine me writing like 2,000 words in a single stretch and then going, well, that was great. Now I'm going to LARP being a cowboy.
How you do it?
Grabbing the cowboy hat on your desk.
Mm-hmm.
Time to activate cowboy mode. Yeah, you'll have that review out in a couple days. Probably by the time the folks who aren't listening to this live listen to this, that'll be on the site. So Get excited.
It's still hush hush. I didn't say nothing.
We can say that you're doing something. We just can't talk about.
I'm doing something, but we can't say what or how or why or when.
I mean, we can say when. It's going to be on the 14th, so.
Damn, he got me there.
Actually, I think we can say what it is too, because yeah, we just it's fine. You'll see it on the 14th. It's fine.
Be patient.
Be patient. Chill out. We'll be here for you. Crystal, what kind of stuff are you getting up to? What gaming have you interacted with the past week or so?
Somewhat related to Lilith's playing games that not many people still play. I hesitated a little bit about even talking about this because this is a beautiful online community, and if you decide to be a tourist in it like me, I need you to be exceedingly nice to everyone and not disturb the Endless Forest.
You need to behave.
The Endless Forest is a 2005 Arts Grants funded social multiplayer game that they also call a social screensaver,
Mhm.
where you are a deer in a forest and you can't talk. You can only do deer stuff. You are identified by a symbol on your head that is unique to you. And you can explore the forest and you can find little secrets that change your appearance.
Mhm.
And you can, meet up with other deer and you can just hang out with them silently and enjoy being a deer. I'm not really a like xenofiction person. I'm not like a deer furry, but I bet this goes really hard if you're one of those. Um it's just got a nice vibe, but as much as I was impressed by the game, I was even more impressed by the official forums where people
Oh,
have like, you know, very detailed lore and art about their characters, and I'm like, yeah, this is what the internet is supposed to be. This is what it's all about.
I mean, that's the beauty of most of these online games, these MMO style things, is I think like you get the best when someone is basically being a dungeon master, right? Where they're just like cultivating a world of OCs and like maintaining it over a long period of time.
Have you ever played one of these, Rose?
I've never played this one specifically, but I would say that applies to like anything like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy 14 or even something like, I don't know, I'm trying to think. I've definitely played some games that are exactly like this, but I can't call them mind immediately. Even something like fucking Toontown is that for someone, you know? It's cool.
What are people's
I just love
experiences with games where you don't do anything?
I kind of bounce off of that stuff. I'm gonna be honest. I'm trying to find a video to put on for this, and it's all just people being like, "Worst game ever," or "Here's the lost media of Endless Forest." It's like, all right, can you
John,
please?
Here's my prescription to you.
Mhm.
Go to the Endless Forest forums. Let the hate in your heart be cleansed by love for these
That's
people.
what cleanses me. I just yeah. I
There's
love
no hate. There's no hate in my heart for
internal
this.
thing. Yeah, it's just
But for the people who call it stupid, I mean.
Yeah, they can do that. That's fine. I have no hate in this. I just kind of bounce off of stuff like that. Like, I like Animal Crossing and Minecraft and stuff. I'm just like,
well, sure, but in this case, think of something like VR chat, and when you do shit like that, right? Like even that's to a degree this sort of thing.
sure.
I think just
Yeah.
extrapolated more.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, I think like with these kinds of games, they are a direct like refutation of the kind of objective oriented like fairy trail kind of game where it's like here is immediately the next objective on a series of objectives. And I've honestly been lately trying to open up my mind more to those kinds of games that are more of like a self-directed. I don't even want to say like vibes based because like that seems to be like this quiet admonition that you're not actually like playing the game, you're vibing or whatever. But I guess more in my case, I think games like that, especially like this, where it is kind of just a thing that you pick up and you interact with it until you don't want to interact with it anymore, and then you go do something else.
Mhm.
Like the appeal of things like VR chat is ultimately having an avatar that represents you in a social or even a semi-social space. So even just like, because I only like vaguely knew about this, and like in the case of what John was talking about, I knew it in the sense of people who picked it up for the express purpose of making fun of it. But I kind of really love the idea of a person whose like gut instinct isn't to immediately try to optimize the fun out of everything they do.
Yeah. Yeah, like trust me, I respect it. And Maverick in the chat is mentioning one time that I did go into VR chat and had I think I talked about it on a podcast a long time ago. How I had like this beautiful international conversation with I think it was like a guy from China, and we were just both talking like, man, our governments both want us to just hate each other, right? Like, yeah, dude, like, fuck that. Let's just hang out. And it was just nice, like he was asking me questions about America, and I was asking him questions about China, and we were both just like, yeah, it's not really like exactly like how they're saying over there. Like we've got problems. This is what's going on, but which it was just nice. It was just a nice conversation to be like, this is the reality. This isn't what you're being fed, and being able to really bridge that gap and have a conversation that I would never have in a million years otherwise.
I mean, that's real different than the experience that you and I had in VR chat, which is we go to Kmart and Taco Bell and I pretend to be a tank operator.
I mean, it's good. It's good no matter what. You have a lot of options to have fun in VR chat, I would say.
I
Yeah,
think
Go on.
I was gonna say I think these social games are just way better at capturing when it's a game about doing nothing really good, because it's the same kind of idea of like, hey, like maybe not this specifically, but like, hey, multiplayer games are always fun when you're playing it with a friend, right, or something like that. Like it's like even if it's a bad multiplayer game, you'll have fun. And I just think of it, I other games where you don't do much, like Flower, I do not like very much.
I mean, like games that are essentially like the video game equivalent of like a desk fidget toy don't do it
Yeah,
for me. But
yeah,
like a game that captures like the kind of experience of being able to decide communally what the game is, maybe even without saying let's play a game. Like I think there's something like instrumental to what play is as people, where people want to do stuff like that, where you can have kind of emergent play experiences that come just from having a virtual body in a virtual space.
yeah.
Yeah. Shout
Very
out to
cool.
Tale of Tales, the Belgian studio that made The Endless Forest. They are like every stereotype you have of like the pretentious artist writing manifestos about the potential of games is true about these people, but I respect it. We need them.
Yeah, there's a really good article about them and their history on a Bad Game Hall of Fame. Which, if you've read their stuff previously, it's not necessarily them like just dunking on stuff. It's very much like trying to come at these legendarily bad games and trying to give them a fair shot and giving the history of the developer and like the context and everything. Bad Game Hall of Fame is great. I think it's the article on their game. I think is the Graveyard or whatever. It's the one where you're the old lady and you have like a 10% chance to just die randomly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a great article. I would absolutely recommend that article. And yeah, to read about Tale of Tales, because yeah, an interesting group of people. Like I absolutely like, after reading about that, I was like, yeah, I don't know about all that, but I respect that they tried, and we need more people taking swings like that for sure.
we need games like this to exist because it will inspire a different game in the future, and then that will inspire a different game in the future, and so on and so forth.
We need
I
we
mean, I
need new
also
people.
think I also just think that in a major way, games forming like an objective false idea of what is proper and good game design only flattens what games are allowed to be.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Games are when you have a Destiny mouse cursor in every menu and purple, green, and colorless loot.
We need drops.
Where's the battle pass? I need to get the epic deer head.
Yeah, Crystal, can you tell us where you would put a battle pass into the forest?
Well, you can pay them to fund the remake in Unreal Engine.
Oh yes, the Unreal Engine remake.
So
I was going to ask about that.
So then you get. Do you unlock things as you play once you do that, or is it just you're just because that's just like Kickstarter basically.
You might get some kind of bonus. I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, good
you
to
get
know.
The legendary sigil on your head. It's green.
Get the Dear God's iconic cap.
I have a fondness for Aiden Pierce's iconic
Me
cap
too.
because
I say it all the time.
at the time I was working at an embroidery shop and a dad came in Halloween day like, you gotta embroider this watchdog caps for my son. I was like, you know what? If
Hell
this
yeah.
means something to a little teen boy somewhere, maybe it's not so bad.
I think I will make an iconic cap.
It's just that is like cemented in my mind because in Riverdale that Jughead also refers to his iconic beanie like multiple times. And it's just like those are linked in my head. I just always think of that whenever I hear iconic.
It's really good. I haven't really been gaming that much this week. Again, I'm sorry, everybody. I know.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
You have an air conditioner now.
I do have an air conditioner now. I played a little teeny tiny bit of Expedition 33. Yesterday I was planning on just having like a full on like game day, but I ended up doing a bunch of other stuff yesterday, so that didn't happen. I have been doing Umamusume runs, you know, it's gold ship week, so you get gold ship shows up and gives you money. And that's nice of her. I think it's supposed to be like Golden Week, but it's not Golden Week, right? Like Golden Week was a few weeks ago.
No, but it was the schedule. This game came out in like April when it came out in Japan, I believe.
Yeah, so they're not adjusting anything, which is pretty funny.
Were we 5 years apart? I was trying to remember.
Something like that.
It's something insane like that.
Yeah. Let's see. We've got. I mean, I've been gaming in the TCG realm. That's what I've been doing.
Okay, that's games.
I've been doing that. I'm just in deep in Digimon and Hololive. Those are my two games still. I'm in it. It's good. It's still good, folks. I actually have a Diaboromon deck ready to go now. It's not perfect, but it's manageable. And I ran that, and I did okay last night. And today, I was playing Hololive TCG, and did I win any? I did win one. I won one game, and I lost one game. I didn't really stick around that long because I had to come and do this. But it's just I'm just going out there with my fucking, because the object of my deck is to just attach a bunch of stuff. It's like an equip spell deck basically. I'm just going around with my powerful allies doing massive damage, like big nukes every turn. It's great. So I'm just the TCG gamer right now. That's what's going on.
That's good. I must say, I didn't know you were into the Hololive one now.
I just like the game.
Support you. Yeah. No, I'm sure it's a good game, but I have to say there's a special level of insane to me that is, I don't know. I'm just thinking about it like conceptually, you know, just like all of the layers to there's a Hololive card game.
Yeah, it's really funny because so yeah, I mean I've talked about it on here, but like it's basically Pokemon but with some other stuff like, attached to it. Like there's cards that are just 1-to-1 with Pokemon. Like there's a card that's just boss's orders from Pokemon. There's a card that's just switch. There's like energy retrieval and like all that stuff. Like they just use those cards pretty much. But yeah, it's just really funny, like me like rolling up because they like everyone else I'm playing with is all like they're coming in decked out in their Hololive shirts and their playmats are Hololive and they've got like all their stuff going on. They're talking about like the streams that they watched this past week, and I'm just like, how's it going? I'm like, yeah, I'm wearing my gray shirt. I'm sitting down with my like the art that I got Wheels to draw me like a decade ago now. Not a decade, it was like 5 years ago now. But yeah, like that Elizabeth persona art that he drew me. I have a playmat of that, and I'm just like, all right, well, how's it going? And it's funny. But yeah, my favorite bit was when I first started in there, they started like posting clips because I think they were like trying to like be like, oh, this is like one of my favorite clips. You should definitely watch this if you don't care that much. If you don't know that much about VTubers, even though the rest of them obviously. So like they were like very underhand, like hey, just, let's try to get him. Let's try to get him. And I mean, you know, I've seen. Yeah, like I've seen them. You know, I know these women. I know these women. It's fine. I don't hate them. I just want to play the game. But let's see here. Let's do one more time around, I suppose. Here we can and then we can hit some news. Yeah, Rose, I guess we'll start with you again.
Yeah.
What's another game that you've been playing?
What is another game? I've been playing a game called Metro Gravity.
Okay.
Which is a Gravity Rush style game.
Okay.
That came out I think like a month or so ago. It's very much Gravity Rush. It's kind of a Gravity Rush style Metroidvania almost, where you sort of navigate a 3D environment and you can just constantly flip yourself around and walk on the ceiling and jump through the air, etc. You can lock yourself like you can in Gravity Rush, you know, so you're just on one form of gravity. You can make like pylons that launch you, stuff like that. It's cool.
This looks cool.
Yeah, the one angle of it that I'm trying to wrap my head around as I play, which is not that hard for me because you know I love parrying more than God, is it is very much Crypt of the Necro Dancer as well to some degree.
Yeah, it said that there's a rhythmic combat.
Yeah, and it's not as severe as Crypt of the Necrodancer, I would say, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a case of, like, they put a little metronome in the bottom right whenever you're in combat, so that you know, like, when the timed hits are coming out. And there's a lot of, like, hey, parry, like, hey, what, a bunch of doors are locked by, like, beams that you have to parry in a specific, you know, time signature or something. Mm-hmm. There's enemy attacks are all tied to this like sort of rhythm, so it's like it'll be like you do like hit, parry, dash, jump, hit, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that I'm trying to wrap my head around that because I'm not very good at the Crypt of the Necrodancer style stuff, but it's still it's really not that bad to get used to, I would say. Like they are giving you enough leeway with it that it's not kind of crushing me the same way Crypt of the Necrodancer did when I kept trying to play it for a while. It also, I think a nice thing is it's very low poly compared to something like Gravity Rush. So while I love Gravity Rush 1 and 2, they make me very sick when I play them. Just all the wobbling around everywhere. And I think the low poly nature of this game is making me not be sick, which is great. So if you had concerns about that, I think this one is not that bad. So far, I think it's really interesting. I really like how it feels similar to that game. Oh my god, what is it called? The Goat.
Pseudo-regalia.
Thank you. Pseudo-regalia. It's very similar to the design philosophy of pseudo-regalia, where there's not a lot of story and you're kind of just sort of like pushing yourself forward and like solving platforming challenges
Mhm.
more than actually like unlocking. Like you are unlocking items to go forward in this world, but you are more so learning how you can manipulate the environment to solve a puzzle more often than not. I've only done one boss in the first 2 or 3 areas or something like that, but I've really been enjoying it. I think it's really charming, and it's also like $12 or something like that. So
Alright.
it's pretty good game for that price, I would say.
Seems like it. Very cool. Very cool.
How do you feel about the trend of indie games that are unauthorized successors to cult classics?
I'm loving it, to be honest with you. They are very hit and miss. Like there's been a lot of Silent Hill ones recently. Like what is that one? The British one.
Crow Country?
No, Crow Country, not Crow Country. That one was like I forget. It's called like something heart or something like that.
Yeah. I know that one. It has it is like kind of a simpler name. I know what you mean though.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. But yeah, like that one's like very like, and a lot of those Silent Hill successors can end up being like, this is like charming to a degree, but you're like kind of missing it. I really like when they're like
Heartworm?
this or like Heartworm. That might be it.
Thank you, Sample Fumble in the chat.
It's either Heartworm or it's like Iron something or something. I don't remember, but yeah, it's just like I like when they're trying. Like there was that one. There's that one that people were posting last week. I think that's like a cowboy God Hand that people are working on, and it just looks exactly like God Hand, and that is what I want to see in the world. I'm going to be real with you. So I'm happy, especially when it's these more obscure games, because I think if you like these more obscure games like Gravity Rush or God Hand, then you probably like it for a pretty substantial reason and kind of are very intimately familiar with the things that you like about it and what you want to recreate from it. Whereas some of the other like cult classic ones, when it's more vague, like Silent Hill, I feel like there are a million things someone could take from something like Silent Hill, that it can end up pretty diluted. I think it's always interesting when something like Signalis is very Silent Hill, right? But it's also Resident Evil-y, and it's also like a little Nier-y at times, even with some of its ideas in terms of changing genre and perspective and stuff like that. But then like there are a bunch of other ones that are like, I'm a combat focused Silent Hill game. There's one I'm really interested in playing called like Sorry We're Closed or something like that then is like a weird story based Silent Hill game. I don't know. There's so many of these. I'm glad that people are trying, because I think I always say that I don't think I don't give a shit about originality that much, even if I really like when things are trying to be original and unique. What matters to me is like you can tell that the people making it really loved making it. And I think in these cases you can see sometimes it doesn't feel like they love the actual game that much. And that's fine, but
I mean, I think in general originality is overrated because it is usually in the execution of trying to just make something you already like that you make something new. It is
yeah.
like it's like the same thing where if you're trying to be weird on purpose, odds are it will come across as ingenuine. So in reality, you just need to be so much yourself that it weirds out anyone that doesn't have your energy.
A great thing is like Kojima, right? Like all of Kojima's games are because he loves these weird ass movies. He thinks about the idea of how many people are killed in action movies, so he keeps making increasing games where you are killing less and less over time and are incentivized to not kill, because he thought about like how insane it is so many people die in action movies. And also he's writing women like that because he watched a lot of exploitation films. But it's like,
I mean,
it just comes from that.
I mean, even just outside of like the thing is with horror, especially because going on like the Silent Hill angle, it has always been really useful to like an indie studio, even in film, to try to do something horror based, because horror is most often at its most effective when you're not showing the scary thing so much. So I think like in a major way, a part of the reason why we see that surge of Silent Hill likes is because obviously Silent Hill is a beloved franchise, but because it's also kind of like one of those things where you can make a reasonable amount of assets very quickly to make something quite similar. And then there's the other factor that I think is like related to like the God Hand kind of thing, where it's like I don't necessarily need it to say on the box God Hand 2. I just need a game that takes literally any of those ideas and think that they're worthwhile to iterate on.
Yeah.
Because especially with like Metro Gravity, like I haven't actually played the finished version. I only played like the demo and I really liked it. Save for like the rhythm combat, it might have been a lot different in that demo. I don't know how the final
It's not
one.
that much different, I would say.
The
But
main reason I didn't like it is also because at the time I was not respecting that it was rhythm combat in the context of being like, this is essentially a song you need to complete. I was trying to like Sekiro spam past the boss, basically. But I might like it better when I come at it with a fresh eyes. But the thing I really liked about Metro Gravity, especially as someone who uh, did not get to play much of Gravity Rush, is the fact that in that same kind of framework as something like Pseudo Regalia, uh, you're allowed to just kind of make games fun, and if you're not interested in telling a story, don't make it get in my way.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Um, it's true that all games are iterative. All games copy other things. All games follow trends. So perhaps the criticism I'm about to make is not entirely fair, and maybe this game has just caught me in the bad moments. If I had played this, I would probably actually enjoy it. But reading this Steam page, it does kind of remind me of like the Battleborn tweet, where it's like, okay, it's Crypt of the Necrodancer plus Sekiro plus Gravity Rush plus Metroidvania. It
Yeah.
is, yeah, it's
It
just kind
is
of
it
mashing
is
a lot of trends together.
mash, yeah.
I think that's just how Steam pages are, because I think that just helps when like someone is searching Sekiro, then it comes up. You know, I think that's just the problem with storefronts more than anything else, really.
I mean, I think that's also just an issue with people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if someone says, "Hey, here's a video game," like I've pulled up a video game just now, just at random. If I said, "Here's a video game where it's like a digital future kind of RPG and it's got like turn-based combat or whatever," you might go, "Yeah, whatever, I'll check it out, I guess." But if I said, "Oh, it's Cyberpunk Pokemon," that immediately snaps a specific demographic of people's heads toward the product that might not look at it if you just said, here's what the name of the game is.
There was this study years ago that I am always referencing, and I mean it's ongoing studies that happen all the time, that was talking about literacy rates and the issues with a lot of illiteracy across America specifically, where it was saying how a lot of people just end up learning how to read entirely through the basis of attaching concepts to an image or another concept in their head, other than like actually understanding what the concept means on its own. And I think that happens a lot with games discussions, where a lot of people just genuinely cannot conceive of a game outside of a prescriptive list of boxes that it needs to fill.
I mean, I think that's especially bad in the context where obviously being people literally on a gaming podcast right now, we are probably a little bit, I would like to hope a little bit better played than like guy who plays, you know, whatever the newest 2K is and then whatever his coworkers tell him about. But I feel like, again, a big problem with that kind of thing is ultimately articulation. It's hard
Yeah.
to describe what you like about something in a few words. And if I had to explain a certain game without comparing it to anything else, it it becomes a little harder, especially if you don't have the language, if you're not articulate in the ways of describing how you feel. Because it's like, I don't know, explain to someone why you like a particular food you like. It becomes difficult when you don't have the language or the equipment specifically to do so.
Because it's tasty.
It's tasty.
This game reminds me just like Persona 5, and then people who like Persona 5 go, "Ah, okay."
Yeah.
Who did that literacy study you're referencing, Rosary? Because I think I know the one you're talking about, but I want to be able to cite it.
I'll have to try to find it, but it's in a lot of. I think it's cited in. I'll find it. I'll find it over the course of.
Yeah. Because I did read through that, and the methodology in it was a little bit whack, where basically, students read a passage from Dickens while the researcher is like sitting in front of them, and then they are like asked to explain what it means, and they're allowed to use their phone and look anything up, and they have as much time as they want, but also, the researcher is kind of staring at them.
Yeah.
They're being perceived. Sometimes the researchers will even laugh at their answers in a way that's a bit rude. So I do feel like it's not quite accounting for the like pressure effect of being observed by judgmental
Yeah.
figure.
That is a factor. I mean, we've all seen the joke post of asking a woman to name one woman, like absolutely unprompted, where like they're just thinking about their day.
Yeah.
Also, the game I was referencing was Hollow Body, by the way. I was looking
Hollow
that up.
Body. Okay.
It was a pretty basic Silent Hill-like game.
Thank you very much for the information. Okay, Lily, let's hit you next. What else is on the docket?
So I've talked about it before, and it was like the centerpiece game that I talked about on an earlier podcast.
Mm-hmm.
When I wasn't playing Fistful of Frags, I decided that I was going to choose Darkness in Aneurysm IV this time. So I talked about it a little before on that prior podcast about playing as there's multiple factions in Aneurysm IV, which if you weren't there for that podcast, Aneurysm IV in the methodology that we just described is like Gary's mod Dark RP but more Eastern European. And there's the two core factions where you can play as Cortex, who are cops, or you can play as Scum, who are scum. I decided that I was going to play, and this is like kind of like that same thing where it would be me repeating myself if I was just kind of synopsizing the game. So I'll frame this as a story again. So Aneurysm as like a fundamentally social game. Like all socializations, you sometimes have to endure people being annoying. And sometimes people will wrong you. Sometimes people will do things where it's like, oh, that sucked. I just got finished done like mining. And three guys decided, hey, wouldn't it be funny if we beat you to death with pipes and stole everything that you just got done mining? Now, I am. Well, I will say that I'm not a person unmotivated by spite, but in this particular circumstance, I was having a really frustrating particular series of sessions playing this game, and so I decided, well, they ruined my night, so I'm going to burn the fucker down, so to speak. So I retreated into the darkest recesses of the city, was literally baptized by a cult, and then they said, here's a 357 Magnum, go shoot some people.
I know who I'm shooting. That's you.
and I was like, sir, yes, sir. And I immediately went up into the city. And so here's the thing that I think we fail to like understand, because like we are deeply concerned in multiplayer games about things like balance. If I want to shoot at someone. I want to have, even in the case of most games, a false pretense of fairness. You have a gun, I have a gun. We're going to shoot at each other. It's fair. In Aneurysm, 80% of the players don't have any means of protecting themselves if you decide to just go postal mode. And even when you are a faction who are allowed guns or have the ability to make them, it takes a lot of work to make one gun. So when I was skirting over some details. When I went down there and became a scum, it took me like 2 hours to build a gun from scratch. So you might be saying, like, well, what's compelling about all that? Oh no. So the cathartic payoff of building a firearm and then walking up there and the subsequent power trip that comes from shooting people who really have no recourse against it. 2, shooting so many people that the in-game janitors are mad at you by name because you made them have to do so much more work. And 3, the in-game cops are emergently making like a posse to kill you and literally only you, is a power trip that I have never experienced in literally any game ever. Because when you're playing like an FPS, you kind of got to keep face to an extent. Like if you absolutely lose it in chat, people are going to start like making fun of you or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear proximity mic. And as a scum, I'm in your walls. So I can hear people getting really mad at me through the walls. And then I get to just sit there and tee-hee to myself over essentially what was 2 hours of me playing Minecraft and then 30 minutes of me playing no Russian.
This game sounds amazing.
And again, it's one of those things where it all happens emergently because I had something happen to me, and then my decision to have that happen immediately defined the next 2 hours of my game experience, rather than the game popping up a little like, those guys just killed you, maybe you should do something back. And the other factor is, Scott was actually on the podcast when I talked about this, and he said, well, one of the issues is that you have to use voice. So if you're a person who is audibly a woman or, queer or whatever, you have to use a microphone and people might be shitty. You can use text in this game, and using text exclusively in this game is really, really funny because the game makes it clear that there's text occurring by having the text pop up over your head, and it makes your character make like the world's evilest Animal Crossing sound as they're talking.
Oh.
And it is incredibly funny because, again, there's not like, all the HUD is really minimalist. You don't even know how much HP or how many bullets are in your gun. The funniest thing I have ever done in a video game was sitting in the dark. I was wearing all black, and a guy just comes down the alley and he starts picking through the garbage. And then, I got real close to my mic and I went, hey there. And you see a guy proceed to just jump out of his skin and then take 357 Magnum shots in the chest. And then I just do it over and over again.
Oh my god, this is so good.
But again,
Gaming's back.
all stories come to an end in that particular way. And in that particular way, I was playing this with my partner. And the big problem that Scum as a faction face in Aneurysm IV is you're sitting down in the dark cult mines building guns and thinking about how much this city sucks. So obviously, like, we all understand, that might have an impact on your mental health. And you actually have to manage your mental health in this game, because if your sanity gauge gets too low, the screen starts getting blurry. and I had to escort my partner up through the blackest part of the map to get her to go to the club, because as we all know, going to the club it increases your sanity, as you know. Listening to psytrance for long enough will make you neurotypical. They don't tell you this. And I had the bad luck of essentially walking my wife directly into 4 cops, and we both died in a valiant standoff. But in my passing moments, as I presumably choked on my own blood in a dead end alleyway, a 13-year-old from Topeka just randomly goes over the mic, "Hey, does anyone have cigarettes?" And then I blacked out, and that's the end of that particular life.
That's good. That's really
Anyway, you should play Aneurysm. That game's really fun.
good. Thank you for telling the wonderful tales about Aneurysm, Lily. All right, Crystal, what do you got for us this time?
Speaking of pretentious art games, I played 2008's indie classic puzzle platformer Braid.
I really thought you were gonna say the other game, and I was gonna like that.
What was the other game?
I thought you were gonna say Kane Lynch. I was like, yeah, you know what? Sure.
No. Kate, we'll talk about Kane Lynch later. What do you remember about Braid?
I remember that there ain't no point to the game. You can just do whatever you want. And he goes, "What?"
It's fun to go woo, though. That's a thing.
It is though. It is. It's the beauty of it. It
Yeah.
costs 800 Microsoft points.
That's true.
That's true. Or $10 in United States money. Braid is better than I remembered.
Yeah.
I think it is, if you wrote out the story as a little like literary microfiction, it would be okay. It wouldn't rub me wrong. I would read that and probably forget about it. But I remember one of the criticisms of the game at the time was that there was like a hard wall between story and gameplay. This was when the term
Oh yes.
ludonarrative dissonance was really in vogue. And playing it now, I'm like, no, there's not. The story and the gameplay are actually quite well integrated, where your little poem at the beginning of each level, the like character theme for Tim, is directly related to the world's gimmick. The first one, Tim wants to fix his mistakes, and so you can fix your mistakes. Second one, Tim wants things beyond his control, so there are some things that don't rewind in time. The third one, Tim often like regresses mentally as he moves from location to location, and so that is also the gameplay gimmick of the level. Fourth one, Tim is haunted by his past decisions. That's also the gimmick of the level, where you have like a ghost when you rewind. Uh, the next one, he's like slowed down by his past, and so you can drop your wedding ring and you will be slowed down by it, and everyone else will also approach slowly. Then the final level, Tim, he's not like other guys. He's always moving in the opposite direction. And so in that level, you're always moving backwards.
Mhm.
Which really got me in like it got me in my hater mode. I don't like hating the audience too much, but I'm like, why can't people read this? It seems so obvious. But then I remember, oh right, I can read this because like I'm 32 and I've played a few games in my days, but when I was 15 and this was like the first indie game I ever played, of course I couldn't understand it.
I'll also say I think people were a lot more positive on it when it immediately came out. And then I believe that man, his effect,
Yeah,
kind of
Jonathan Blow kind of
really
showed his
changed the
ass.
conversation.
Yeah,
It's the same thing with The Witness. As The Witness came out, and I think like people were like ready to be like, you know what, I hate this guy, but there's some interesting stuff in here. And then
Mr. Blow's affect certainly does not do him any favors.
no,
Yeah.
Mhm.
definitely, I mostly really like this game. I think the one thing that's really a huge misstep. The paintings are nice. I like them. I like looking at it. I like the music. It's a pretty game. I don't really think it needs to be a riff on Mario. Um, Interpreting the story through the lens of the art, it's like, is Tim's like childish perception of an idealized woman modeled after Mario and Peach? Because that just seems a little tacky.
Like Mario and Princess Peach.
Like Mario and Princess Peach. It's okay when Kojima does it.
They're not even in a relationship.
That's true. They're confirmed to not be in. Well, neither is Tim and the princess. Or maybe they were divorced. I don't know.
It's unclear.
Yeah, see, that's where Nintendo's got one on Jonathan Blow. They cleared it up.
It's true. They have clarified their relation.
There's one thing I have to clarify again. I'm just railing against who I perceive to be fools in the audience. The game is not about the Manhattan Project. It just uses the Manhattan Project as a metaphor to say, hey, if you actually got the princess, if you played this game for 1,000,000 years doing all the math to get all the secret stars, which are really annoying to get, and I didn't do, if you actually got the princess from all that, it would be a disaster. It would be bad for both of you. It would be something like a nuclear explosion. But that doesn't mean the entire game is a metaphor for Oppenheimer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, have you played The Witness at all, Crystal?
I've not played The Witness.
Okay, I think you'll see that exact ideas that he has about using themes in big quotation marks, and how far that takes him very succinctly in that game. Like it is incredible that I do not know. I don't think there is much going on in that head of his when it comes to that particular angle of his workmanship.
Main thing I remember about The Witness is the one puzzle that forces you to watch an entire film to complete it.
Yep. Yeah. It has really good ideas in that film. I can't even joke about that. I was going to be like, yep. And then it's like, no, I can't. I just immediately said no.
Rose
I hate it.
Borat reference.
The more often that a game requires me to like stop my computer from turning on the screensaver, the better and more art house it is.
Listen, when the darkness lets you watch the entirety of To Kill a Mockingbird, it's good, okay?
Yeah, it is an expression of intimate tenderness between a mass murderer and his normal girlfriend. In The Witness, it's, man, they're really making me hold left mouse for a really long time.
Yeah.
Indie games love doing that. Braid also has you wait for 2 hours for one of the secret stars. I know other games do something like this. I think Super Hot Mind Control Delete also does this at the ends.
I think you're right. I think so, yes.
Listen, artistically minded game devs, this one is played out. You got to stop doing it.
You don't have to do it anymore.
I just, you know what it has to be when they do it is it should be something like Yasmet from Final Fantasy XII, where it is, you have created your beautiful macro system and you are leaving your fucking game running and testing the metal of your fucking party logic. And then instead everyone does Final Fantasy 15 Adamantoise, where you sit there for 6 hours pressing X.
Unless you use the ring and you get lucky.
Lets you compress the turtle out of existence. More games need to be more intelligent with how they make their player base suffer.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and the suffering's important, to be clear.
Gamers need suffering as like part of stimulation. Like it's why people will 100%. They'll 100% games they don't like because they can't stand not having the platinum trophy. We need to make more games that torture that specific demographic of people.
I agree.
Now, Rosary, well, as you agree, is it not true that you are a trophy hunter?
Yeah, but I've gotten better. Don't worry.
Okay.
I've reached a point where I do it as a sign of love to a game I am enjoying,
Okay, I'm glad to hear that.
or if it would be really funny.
John, what do you think about Braid?
I've never played it, and I don't really think about it that much.
Fair enough.
There you go.
What about Fez?
I also haven't
Oh
played it.
God.
I
I'm
didn't-
eagerly awaiting Fez 2. Is that still a funny joke?
You don't deserve Fez 2.
I think it's kind of wrapped back around to being a little funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever played Fez Crystal, actually, unironically?
I have never played Fez.
Okay. I'd be curious what you think of that genre of game, that and like something like Tunic, where it's like you kind of have to intuit the more.
I did play a bit of Tunic. My partner at the time was playing it while I was like running the journal to try to decode it. It was too complex for me.
It's pretty out there. It took me a really long time to do.
See, more valuable than any review score is the ability to ascertain how many cryptographers are fans of your game. If it's too many, I can't play it.
It is a warning flag, isn't it? It's like it's like a meter. It's like the Resident Evil pipe puzzles where you have to fill them up a certain amount. It's like if there's too many cryptographers, then
Uh-oh. All right.
Oh no, they're gonna make me read House of Leaves again.
Like you say that like it's a bad thing.
Listen, I like House of Leaves, and I don't want to read it again. Like, not unprompted.
Not after you finish a mini game.
No, I don't want to read. I don't want to read the entirety of The King in Yellow every single time I finish a pipe mini game.
You're gonna hate most TikTok games from 2023.
All right. Well, we got some news. Only a little bit. We'll try to get through this quick. Got a quick update on the payment processor situation. MasterCard is doing a sponsorship for some recent Riot Games esports leagues, and apparently they explicitly told Riot to stifle any kind of talk about the payment processor problems during these streams in their chat.
I'm fascinated by this because I don't even know why that would have occurred naturally. Like just broadly speaking, I have seen what League of Legends Twitch chats look like. And I'm just fascinated by the idea of like we have to get ahead of this.
It's one of those
ahead of what?
It's one of those things where like if they hadn't said anything, it would not have drawn that much attention because like I don't people are paying attention to this stuff, but I highly doubt that anyone would have been like keeping track of everything that MasterCard is sponsoring right now, like but now that this happened, it's like yeah, they've got a screenshot of a recent League of Legends tournament, and it's just like there's just people that's just like he's doing his best, but MasterCard is doing their worst with the censorship. They would stay winning if MasterCard wasn't abusing its monopoly. I'd like MasterCard to disengage from deciding what we're allowed to buy. I love watching this in the background while I write letters to MasterCard for their enforcement of eradicating content they don't approve of. Just yeah, that's what's going on in there now.
Yep.
So, digging that hole, guys.
I am glad to see that the calling campaign is making progress.
Yeah, I still can't fully say what I think will end up happening, but
I think it's good to get people in this mindset because you can apply this sort of skill set that they're learning from this to other things that are also very useful.
Absolutely.
I do think I don't want to say this because I think that any amount of action is good, to be clear. But I do think there are some people who are misunderstanding that the group that initiated all of this, the collective shout, I do not think that they succeeded purely on virtue of they did a lot of calling.
Mhm.
And I see a lot of people saying like, oh, well, keep it up like they did it with just this amount. And it's like they had other compounding factors on their side.
Mhm.
But so just, this is a method. It is different from theirs, and it will be effective in its own way.
Mhm. Mhm. Keep on calling. Keep on saying. I've been seeing a lot of wild tactics. I don't know if I'm gonna say about it on a Twitch stream, but man, yeah, there's some stuff that people are doing now.
I was very impressed that Valve said anything. Also, still,
That's
I was
true.
flabbergasted.
Yeah, you really know that you're on the wrong side of history when Valve gets off their ass to be like, "Hey, all right, we don't agree with it." Like, it's like, damn, really?
Gabe the White got off his yacht to send a singular email.
Exactly. What the fuck? What's going on? The Raven QA union has secured their contract. So, congrats to the QA folks at Raven.
Years in the making, and great job on their part. Again, proof that if you keep at it,
yeah,
things can change.
Yeah. This is Let's see here. Yeah. Years of negotiating the high-profile merger with the. I'm looking at GameDeveloper.com here. It will eliminate crunch and the need for 7 days' notice for mandatory overtime, while providing expanded disability accommodations and layoff protections, including severance, recall rights, career transition services, and generous COBRA subsidies. That sounds like a pretty good win to me.
That's what I call music.
Volume, like 10 maybe. I don't know. However many
I think
game
we're up
using.
higher than 10.
Okay.
Probably up at like 60.
And the music isn't even that good now, right?
Well,
I don't know. I'm just saying.
It's probably better than like the 2010s.
Probably, yeah. I'm just saying shit. I don't actually mean it. But yeah, congrats to the Raven QA team. May there be more unions in the future.
there are continuing to be more, right? Like you're seeing it happen more and more every day.
Yeah, or places becoming breaking off from the big conglomerates. Excuse me.
I do think. Oh, go ahead.
Like Digital Foundry just broke off from IGN. Like that's good for them, getting out of there.
Yeah. Especially with all the shit that Stiff Davis is doing more and more.
Yeah.
The fact that even IGN seems to be in trouble is scary. Because for a while there, they seem to be like the one stable place.
The thing is like, that they are stable is the worst part about it. Like, it's just I almost guarantee they're looking around their ideas of doing AI scraping for guides and stuff like that going forward. So they just want less writers. Because, like, numbers wise, they are still doing astronomically well.
Yeah, pretty much. Because, they just launched like a new newsletter thing that's supposed to be for publishers and stuff that will share their hit information, where it'll be like, at IGN we are getting a lot of hits on, I don't know, like Ghost of Yotei or whatever, so we know that that's going to be a big product when it comes out, so here's the data that's tied to that. This is the kind of stuff that they've got going on, basically.
Yeah, it's always been that way, where I think like the most popular video on giantbomb.com was a guide to get all the Diedrich artifacts in Skyrim. Or like the most popular article on Waypoint was like the Red Dead Redemption 2 review.
Yeah, here I'm gonna pull up. Let me see if I can pull up our most popular article of all time right now, live on Twitch. Let me see if I can find that out. Okay, just gonna do all time submit. Our homepage. It is apparently Rose's Callisto Protocol review.
Congratulations,
Okay.
Rose.
Yeah, so there you go. Damn, I'm number 3 though.
What's next?
One more bit of news here. So since Bungie ran into their problems this past while, with the whole marathon situation, with their delay because people didn't like the game, and all the designs that they stole from an artist, seems that Sony is pulling back on their promise to Bungie previously that they were just going to let them be independent and let them do what they want. It's VGC is reporting that in a QA session with Sony's latest financial results, I'm reading this from Games Radar, Sony Chief Financial Officer Lin Tao has shed some light in the current plans for Marathon. Explains that we expect the launch to happen within the fiscal year. We're now doing modification and development based on the progress in the autumn timeframe. We believe we can communicate when we can launch Marathon. It's an ongoing process in the long term, but the direction for Bungie is to become part of PlayStation Studios. So yeah, they are dragging them in. They are shortening that leash. They are pulling them in. How are we feeling about that?
Bungie.
You think this is going to be the end of Bungie?
It could be. Who knows?
I mean, a lot of these kinds of studios, I mean, like, again, as much as like there are certain value associated with a name,
Mhm.
a lot of these don't live forever, especially when they are owned by a larger conglomerate. I mean, heck, in the case of like Raven, they were doing their own independent thing. They got purchased by a conglomerate. They got put to work on other projects, and then, that studio effectively doesn't exist as an independent branch. And I think it happening to Bungie won't necessarily be the worst. Like, I won't feel particularly sad about it. I'll feel sad for like those individuals who will probably be put to work on something less fulfilling than the immediate artistic interests of Bungie. But I think, frankly, the name Bungie, a lot of their most interesting projects to me personally are behind them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the
Like,
fact that they're making a new Marathon and it's an extraction shooter. It's like that's not Marathon. It's not the Bungie that made those old Marathon games. It's not the kind of game that those old Marathon games are. It's not the people that made those games. It's just a product that just so happens to have the same name, made by a company that just so happens to have the same name. I mean, some of those people might still be there, but you know what I mean.
I mean, it's the same kind of thing to me where it's like people say like XYZ company is going out of business.
Mhm.
And it's not like those people are getting put down. It's like the equivalent of being like the box that housed your family's television in your childhood is finally being thrown away.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's hard to be sad for a brand name going under if that even ends up happening.
Mhm.
Because like what at the end of the day, they're not making things commensurate with their prior ideas. Because I think, again, Bungie was made up of ideas people. Like stuff like Myth and Marathon and Pathways into Darkness were all made by incredibly creative, passionate, very like driven people.
Mhm.
And then to see something like Marathon just turned into an extraction shooter, it's hard to care if that makes them fail, because clearly the same vision isn't there.
Yeah. They don't care to have it be what Marathon was. They're just playing on the name. So why should you care?
And I mean, who they is like a nebulous. Like,
Mhm.
we can't say everyone at Bungie feels this way, but definitely the people who are sending the money feel that way, and
Mhm.
that's kind of just the unfortunate thing about it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like if they suddenly said we're gonna make Myth 3 and it's gonna play like Mountain Blade,
Uh-huh.
like I can't be excited for that.
What are some Bungie derived studios made by former Bungie people? Wasn't Concord one of those?
Oh dear, if it is, then that's like escaping a burning building by jumping onto a hand grenade.
Yeah, founded by former Bungie creative director Ryan Ellis.
Damn.
Well,
Yeah, that was Homer bouncing off the mattress when Ned Flanders throws him out the window. Yeah. But yeah, that's a bummer. But we'll see how that goes, I guess. All right, Rose. Anything else you want to touch on, games wise? What else have you been playing?
I think she might have stepped away for a second.
Oh, might be. Okay then. You could go ahead then, Lily. What have you been playing?
Last thing that I've been working on this past week or so, I've been playing more of Trails second chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it was kind of funny to me because, like I've said before, it is this odd kind of sense of like being nostalgic for someone else's childhood, where it's like you see something where if you had experienced this early, you would certainly have fond feelings for it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I do feel like kind of strange saying this because I know it's like the hallmark of those games, but I just feel like the pacing is a bit not quite correct for like if we were going by like a traditional metric of pacing.
Mhm.
Like if I had to define it, right? To give like an early game example. Okay, you have just defeated a terrorist who is in control of a device that could control earthquakes all over the entire region. And you're like, wow, that sounds like a really big deal. And it is.
Mhm.
And then as soon as that mission's over, you're back to rescuing cats out of trees and helping kids find their moms. And I don't think that's objectively bad, especially given that, you know, a lot of the time those kinds of things are like side missions and whatnot. It does feel definitely stranger when it's folded into the main story. Going from martial arts terrorist earthquake master to there's a child lost in the castle somewhere. We don't know where her mom and dad are. It I don't think it's objectively bad to do pacing that way, but it's kind of like the equivalent of going from 100 miles an hour to 20.
Slamming on the brakes
And
or easing onto it, would you say?
definitely like more of a slam because it's like, yeah, you obviously need to wind down from that a
Okay.
little bit because
Mhm.
that's how story beats work. But you defeat this one, or you don't even really defeat him per se. He gets away. But I just find that again, we have like every story arc is constructed out of many smaller arcs as far as stories go. And in order for what we conceive to be traditionally good pacing, every arc needs to be bigger than the one, you know, that comes before. That's
Mhm.
just, you know, how traditional writing works. Obviously you can break that framework, but here it's just kind of odd to me because it's like the royal family has been receiving death threats because of a recent treaty,
Mhm.
and then you're doing a mission where you're looking in a sewer for a sewer man.
You got to
Like
take care of the sewer
it's
man,
not
though. That's the problem.
You gotta.
You gotta.
It's more important than stopping a potential international incident.
Yeah.
Like it's odd because it kind of feels like it wants to have its cake and eat it.
Mhm.
And like obviously, there's always like the weird, ludonarrative dissonance that happens from like wrapping up like JRPG side quests before the game is about to end.
Mhm.
But it feels particularly odd here because the game is also kind of rating you. Because like you'll get story rewards as you act as like a better agent of this like force. And if you're not doing the side missions, and in fact not doing the hidden side missions, you won't get a maximum like bracer rank. And again, like I said before, I am trying to remove the part of my brain like that is like, no, you're not going to get the special S ranking at the end of the game. You're playing the game bad.
Mhm.
And like I'm trying to be more okay with that, but it is still it's that same kind of thing that's like really kind of shitty playing a game like Devil May Cry, because playing Devil May Cry is about the expression and the fun of playing with your toys
Yeah.
in novel ways, and it can feel bad for the game to suddenly be like, also you did bad at this, D rank.
Mhm. Yeah.
Or like playing Hitman. And that feels kind of weird to me, and it's also it's kind of more of an unfortunate thing. Um, I understand that this is a very much like a consumer-brained problem to have, and I don't know necessarily how to convince myself out of it. So maybe you will have ideas on this, but I've always kind of struggled to an extent to move backward in time with franchises.
Okay.
Like I can find myself really enjoying Final Fantasy 3, Final Fantasy 6 uh a lot. Obviously it lacks a lot of the quality of life, features that newer titles have. But I would also struggle to play like Final Fantasy 1 and 2. And it's not like those are games that have proven that they're bad over time. There's just something about them where like the complexities that were added by iterative systems over time weren't sufficient for me to dig my teeth in, and I don't know where like the perspective problem lies, because obviously we needed Super Mario 64 to get Super Mario Odyssey, but I might struggle to play Super Mario 64 because it doesn't play like Super Mario Odyssey. And a lot of the times I've tried to fix that by saying, well, it's an older game. Obviously we can't bring quality of life stuff back in time with us. And it's just kind of a struggle to change that mindset, because part of me does kind of want to skip ahead in the franchise to the newer parts, not even because of graphics, just because, I kind of would like to have a fast travel system in my really big, expansive JRPG.
Sure. Yeah. Remasters are good sometimes, I'm not gonna completely toss that aside, but it's also worth it to interact with a game based on how it was originally made. So
In your historical perspective, would you say that quality of life tends to increase over time?
Not necessarily. I mean, especially when I think like directorially, like there is an intentional desire for objective friction. Like, take Death Stranding 2.
mhm.
Clearly Kojima had a vision in mind where he wanted to increase the friction, successfully or no. And I think that comes with like an inherent directorial decision, but I think there is also this kind of thing where passively there is this kind of accumulated increase in knowledge about what is or isn't caused by certain mechanical responses. Like we know in the modern day that random encounters have a useful purpose, but if done well, they can be irritating. maybe we didn't know that as specifically when they were, all over the place earlier on in the Final Fantasy games, but it is definitely done more thoughtfully now if a director wants to use that as a mechanic. So I guess that's a complicated way of saying not necessarily, but not necessarily.
It depends.
Yeah.
Definitely Rose brought up the Destiny menus and everything these days. And for me, it's like that's a prime example of menus getting harder to navigate over time. Too many numbers to process, too many colors. Definitely, I feel like not even 80s games, but like 2000 games are easier to navigate the menus than the Destiny menus.
Yeah, and I mean, like, in a major way, especially with Destiny, a lot of that comes from the fact that they are having to manage a cross-platform game that needs to be just as playable on, an Xbox One as a PC. And a lot of the time, direction and especially production will say, we need this to be more accessible to console gamers because they're our biggest slice of the demographic. So, PC gamers can suck it or whatever. That kind of thing definitely happens. But there's also just the fact that obviously direction, like they're not omniscient. They can come up with what they think are good ideas at the time, and then either money or time or whatever runs out. And like especially in the case with Trails, as I've been experiencing, I don't know if I would be having as much as a problem with some of the clearly like lacking quality of life things, because again, we're maintaining the perspective that this game is not from 2025. It is from when it's from. And it's like this kind of thing where I'm trying to have a good time. My good time hat is very thoroughly shoved on my head right now. But I still can't help but feel like micro irritations that keep happening with the pacing and certain things that bother me. Like, okay, maybe this attack animation does not need to specifically be 30 seconds long every time I use it. Maybe having an encounter that spawns 15 times the enemies that I have actions might not be the greatest idea. Maybe the fact that the game randomly decides on differing intervals whether or not it's going to teleport me back to town or force me to walk all the way back for 30 minutes, maybe that's a bad idea. But I'm still trying to keep it in like the time framework, but it's also one of those things where sometimes I go, maybe this is just a bad idea regardless of when this game came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be interested in knowing the contemporary reactions.
Well, it's especially going to be really interesting because I just played Trails in the Sky first chapter. And then as soon as I complete it, as is my curse decided by Mount Olympus, the game immediately gets a remake announced. So ostensibly I'm going to play it a second time. And then I will have a more complete perspective. But until then, it's just kind of strange because I can't help but have a grass is greener perspective where I'm like, man, it might be nicer to play this game and have fast travel. And maybe in another franchise I won't have to fight the Earthquake Man and then immediately have to save a child and then immediately fight a sewer man.
I had to step away for a second, but were you talking about Trails?
I was talking about Trail's second chapter and
So
my broken brain.
I will say that I understand exactly what you're complaining about because it's how I felt when I played the first time through. But now that I've played most of them, my stance is that I understand the deliberation of their design, especially with things like not teleporting you back or fast traveling, because their fixation on updating everyone's dialogue, they really wanted to make sure you got into the habits of doing that. That was their like big idea, was the idea that you can talk to everyone in that game and always have it change.
And I mean, like, that's the funny thing, where there are basically two people fighting in me at any given time, anytime I play like a lengthy JRPG like this, where I have what I can call like Skyrim lizard brain, where it's like I can see where the objective is on the map. I need to run directly there. But then there is like child brain with infinite time, where it's like, I just want to
Yep.
stand next to the hot spring because the music is nice and I like the sound of the water. And then I have basically those two forces colliding in my brain, and I'm trying to feed the one that I think is the most happy and whimsical, but also, goddamn, sometimes I just want to run back to town real quick, and I don't want to have to run through 3 shrubs, a dale, a hedge maze, and also,
Yeah.
potentially get ganked by 6 to 7 gnolls.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that I think that's something that they get better about just broadly in structure over the course of those games. Like when you get to the later Cold Steel or even Daybreak is an exceptional one. That's obviously a modern game, but
Mhm.
you have these things where they are marking individual NPCs with like if you've talked to them or not whenever they update, and they like change every store and stuff like that. So they sort of like get you into those habits through the game systems more rather than just like you say, like the whimsy. You kind of have to just force yourself into doing it, right? In
Mhm.
Sky Second Chapter. And I think like they get better at structure in a way that like all the things you're describing are definitely things that they change almost immediately in like Zero. Like Zero, they'll just send you back to home immediately whenever anything happens or something like that.
Mhm.
And like
It's
that's the thing. It's like it's not even distinctly that I think the game is bad for doing these things.
it's
It
just
is like,
weird.
yeah, and more so, it's just also like I understand what you're trying to do, and I feel like it's me that I want to calibrate to hit the vision
Hmm.
because I think this is lovely. Like I do genuinely think they're wonderful games. Like the predominant thing that I was saying while you stepped away for a bit was like it's so strange sometimes that the pacing is the way that it is. Where again, you go from fighting a kung fu master to saving a cat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
But
I really admire that about it, honestly. Is like especially those early games is like, but it does create that tonal dissonance, right? Because it's like especially in second chapter everything feels so much more dire than the first game.
mhm.
So it's like you have this idea like they're going around the country fucking shit up. Oh god, when we really have this goal we need to accomplish. And then it's like, all right, but I lost my keys in the river.
Yeah, and it's really funny because obviously, like lots of JRPGs have, really diverse casts. You can have guy who is 60 and little girl who is 11 in the same party. It's really, really funny to play a game where one of your party members basically does the equivalent of, okay, I know I'm like helping you shoot like, lots of hedgehogs with a grenade launcher. I really want to do a playdate at the mall. And the main
Yeah.
character has to be like, okay, go child into the biggest city in the setting. Be free. Buy all the saltwater taffy that you want. Anyway, about that international incident.
I think they get better at the the pacing of that sort of stuff at least, or I think that they explain it better because it's like on the one hand I love the idea of being a bracer in that world and like what that has to represent. Like you have to listen to community problems. That's the whole reason you have this job, right? You want to help the community even if something more important is happening. But it's just very funny in the structure of a traditional JRPG.
So what
Especially when
I'm
things like dragons show up.
yeah, and I guess what this all culminates in, what this is ultimately breaking down to is Legend of Heroes TTRPG when.
Honestly, yeah, I think it would do a great job for that form factor. I mean, like Falcom got its roots off of copying off Ultima and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
uh,
Anyway, that's the end of my ramble about Trails.
All right. Rose, since you're actually back, we can switch back to you.
all right.
Do you have anything that you want to discuss? Maybe a Trails game or two? I don't know.
I'm just thinking of Trails. I love Trails so much. I
I
really need
know
to
you
get
do.
back to Cold Steel 2. If my computer didn't blow up, I was playing Cold Steel 2 for my wife. Fucking man, I love Trails. I don't know. I'll talk about something else, but I really like Trails. I once you get in I'll be curious to see what you feel about second chapter. I think is really good all the way through. I love the character Kevin Graham for reasons you will see in the future.
Green Vash the Stampede.
He's not only is he Vash the Stampede, he is also a second Trigun character.
That could be anywhere from
yes.
terrifying to heartwarming.
That you will have to wait and see. Good shit. Trails in the Third is so interesting also. I'll be curious your take on it just because it's like it is a character-driven game way more than a story-driven game. Like it is kind of just dungeon crawling, but we have a million character moments.
See, the thing is, ordinarily that sentence would have put me off, but I think with me recently playing lots of System Shock 1, I might be becoming like more and more dungeon crawl like pilled here. So I don't know. I'm like undergoing a metamorphosis right now.
When it has writing, it definitely helps, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
in something like System Shock, because that's always been my problem. Like I really like I need to play more of it. Labyrinth of Refrain as an example. I like that because it has like a structure to it and you're getting story bits. But like Etrian Odyssey has always been rough for me.
yeah, I mean, I have I'm going to invent like a DSM heading real quick, so bear with me.
Okay.
I have what I can only call like gray box dungeon dissociative disorder.
Okay.
Where it's like when a game becomes blatantly apparent that minimal thought was put into like the dungeons, and it is just a place that exists to be randomly generated a million times, my brain goes like full on Night in the Woods, where I'm just like, oh my god, this is just a virtual space. They've imprisoned me in a virtual hell of my own creation. Like that's what happens anytime I try to do Chalice dungeons in Bloodborne, where I just can't stop thinking about this space isn't real and I don't need to think about it.
Damn.
I can understand that. I definitely understand like when you lose your place in a world, sort of, or like you can't find a place in a world, I guess would be the better term to use. It can be really hard to
I mean, and it's also because like it's not like people are like preternaturally kind of, gifted with the ability to navigate. If you enter like a place, you generally kind of know, because it's a real place, because you've seen places before, you know how to navigate them. When it's like randomly made, it inherently defies your desire to make sense of it. And you can't make navigational decisions based on what makes common sense because it's not built on common sense, it's random.
Yeah, the Chalice dungeons are particularly troublesome because so much of those games is about making a mental map of your environments, and the randomly generated dungeons just completely throw off that instinct.
And it's also like the fact that because it is the same tile set, and sometimes you'll see the same room in the same tile set multiple times per generation, it inherently it flies in the face of your inherent desire to keep that mental map in a way that makes like logical sense projected onto a 3D space. Like even if like maps like Doom's maps are not technically meant to be 100% representative of a real place, you can still kind of navigate them based on game design because they were made with sight lines and natural, desires to explore passages in mind. It's why like boomer shooters that try to be Doom but with infinite maps are generally not especially good.
They sure aren't.
Alright, yeah, Rose. Tell me.
Yeah, actual game that I'm playing. Wuchang Fallen Feathers, Dark Souls. That's related to Bloodborne. It's a Soulsian game from China, published by 505 Games. I don't remember what the developer's name is. I should know that right now. But
Let's see if it says on the
as I
trailer.
figure that out, it
I don't
is.
see it. Okay.
Lindsay, which is a Chinese company. So this is a Souls-like that is set in the end of the Ming Dynasty. So like 1600s China. And it's about you play this pirate woman named Wuchang, and she goes around and she has a bird arm because there's a plague going around that gives everyone feathers until they die. And it's very much Dark Souls. You just go around maps. You have different weapon types. You fight bosses. There's not that heavy of a focus on parries, honestly, which is kind of nice for one of these. Because I feel like everything kind of got bastardized by Sekiro. As someone who loves parries, it's still I feel like as much as I love Lies of P, it has become the format for these kind of like there was that recent game AI Limit, and even Kazan very much has a heavy incentivization for parries. This doesn't so much. This has more of a focus on a lot of customization and magic, which I actually really like. Because basically you are, as you're attacking, you build up stacks of this like resource, and you get it through different ways, like things like okay, well, here, let me see. There's a sphere grid instead of normal Dark Souls leveling up.
Okay.
And like a real ass sphere grid, not just a skill tree, a real ass sphere grid with like stats and like different move variants and stuff like that. And I really like it. I actually think it's really smart because it means that I think leveling up in Souls games is one of the worst things that they have just let become garbage, kind of. Like I never thought it was particularly in depth. Like it just exists as a mean to an end in original Dark Souls and Demon Souls of like, hey, you're going for the magic build, so you're putting points into the magic. But I really don't think that's that interesting, even then, because it's like, yeah, of course you're putting points into the magic skill. You're a magician, like it doesn't mean anything. You're just putting it. You're leveling up for the sake of it, is what I mean. And I think a lot of RPGs have that problem. But I really like this and sphere grid style stuff because it means like you're going for not just like this specific weapon type, but you're also speccing into what you want to do with that weapon type. Like in this one, I was going like raw like movement tech, so I was able to upgrade different moves in ways that make them like have shorter animations or longer animations to push me further away, and also just generate more resources so I could just keep doing my moves. It has a lot of fun ideas. I like that basically when you're upgrading the sphere grid, you sometimes get in individual weapon trees, they have like this thing where it will be like, hey, now every second attack of your normal combo will give you that resource I mentioned that you get stacks of to spend to use magic or special moves or something like that. So it's like this cool thing where it's like you might just do half of your combo just because you know that you get like this resource from that specific hit, and then you'll just like back off and do something else. And I think that creates like a really interesting take on that Souls-like combat, which is often just like, I'm going to use my big move. I'm going to use my big move. I can't use my big move anymore, so now I'm just doing light combo. It's interesting. I also love mana systems that are in general very like you keep building it up instead of just you spend it all and then it's gone. I don't know. I'm very early on in it, and I've been enjoying the combat. It's felt very easy so far, though. But I'm kind of fine with that because you kind of get to do a lot of things. Like there's 4 weapon types I have access to right now, like a long sword, a short sword, 2 swords, and then like a pole spear style thing. And I've only been doing the longsword just because I like it so much. It has like a really fun like the style of longsword where you kind of like are doing the half moon gesture over your head all the time, if you know what I mean. Like you're like pulling it out and then doing a giant arc over yourself. It feels very like wuxia freeform. That I'm enjoying. It has Dark Souls 1 style level design, so everything's interconnected to go back to what we were just talking about, which I'm really appreciating. Like you will get to the end of an area and then you'll see like a door on the left, and then you go through that door to the left and you'll be like, oh my god, I'm here. And that's my favorite thing about Dark Souls 1.
Now you got my attention.
Yeah, I really like that part of it. The only things that I would say are bad about it really so far, I'm not that far in. I would say I'm like a third of the way through the game. Is that the performance is not great. I'm playing on PlayStation 5, and it is a very inconsistent 60 FPS, which doesn't make sense, really, because it is not a crazy graphics game. It is very much pretty standard, I would say, AA fair stuff. And I'm surprised how badly it runs, because like I just played Death Stranding 2 at like 100 FPS or whatever.
Let me guess, Unreal Engine.
It is, I believe it is Unreal Engine.
Yeah, the engine
The
seems
frame
to be
stuttering.
struggling.
But even then, like Lies of P ran much better than this.
That's a
as an
UE4
example.
game.
That's true. Fuck. Marvel Rivals runs better than.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very odd. I will give it praise for being 12 gigabytes though.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
You said that Wuchang is a pirate. How is her
Yes.
piratical nature represented?
Basically, it just means that she looks like a pirate lady. There is a lot of story in this game. like she wears a lot of like what you would consider a sexy pirate lady to wear.
Oh, okay.
Like a lot of like, you know, like almost boobs out, like silk shirts and stuff like that, and then like pants and stuff like that, and like she'll have some hats.
I was about to say she better have a fucking hat. All right.
They're kind of slowly unveiling her story, so I don't know all the thing. I just know the conceit basically, and that the stuff that they tell you. I will say there's a surprising amount of story in this game, but I don't think it's that deep. But I am still surprised by how much there is compared to like Elden Ring, as an example, right? Like I think Souls games in general, even if they let you talk to a lot of NPCs, they don't really say that much or have that much of an effect on anything for the most part. Like I think of Dark Souls 1 and how many people you just meet, like Undead Merchant in the Undead Burg, who you can just talk to, and he says like 2 lines, and you can just sort of get a grasp on his situation from that. But this is way more like people are talking for paragraphs at you. They're talking about other characters, and they're talking about the situation, and they're explaining everything, but it's missing something. I don't think it's translated badly, which happens to a lot of Chinese games either. I think it is translated pretty reasonably. It has a full English dub, but there's something about it that is just like structurally, I find myself consistently confused. I think they go further into the pirate stuff later also, if I had to guess, because the main thrust of the game is that she's trying to find a way to bring her dead sister back to life. And she had become a pirate to do so. This is also end of Ming Dynasty, so it's kind of like Disaster World.
If I'm playing as a pirate, I would like to threaten people for plunder.
I agree. If there was more, I think you want to talk about like games that are getting too trapped inside of molds of what they have to be. I would love to play a Souls-like where you can randomly threaten people instead of just I killed the NPC and took his item.
Hey, quit it. We need that.
Lies of P is getting there. I think it'll be the first one to do it whenever they make Dreams of D.
Solon is in the chat and is saying that this sounds intensely Rosecore gaming. You have a cursed bird arm. For hell's sake.
It's pretty cool.
Would you say that cursed bird arms are Rosecore? How do you feel about cursed?
It doesn't have to specifically be a bird, but I love cursed arm. Let me tell you, there's 2 things I really like about this game. One is that you have a madness meter that is being built up while you're attacking, which normally I don't like sanity mechanics. However, this is more like it's making your eyes glow red and making you stronger.
Is it
so like Beasthood from Bloodborne?
Kind of, yeah. And what that does is as it gets higher, the more enemies you're killing as you're going through a sequence before you can reset it, is you'll gradually get more and more glowing red eyes, and then when you get to maxed out, you can't do anything, and you'll take double damage and deal double damage. And when you die, it will spawn in like invader ghost of you that you have to kill. when you go back to that area if you die with Max Madness. And they actually put interesting mechanics on those, so it feels interesting.
Are you sure it's not just like Madness is in being real pissed? Because that's what happens when you be really pissed.
It's more like it's supposed to be like, hey, you have the bird disease, right? So you're like, you give in to like the bird demons in your arm or whatever. It's kind of the vibe that they're going for.
So is the bird that the demon or the bird that the disease is from? Is it like a goose maybe? That's why it's like that.
Almost definitely with the aggression.
Yeah.
It has to be like that.
That makes sense to me. Like the goose is taking you over, and you're just like and you're like trying to
you're
fight
just
people.
fucking attacking people.
Yeah.
I also like that there's this interesting level to it that doesn't matter much, but it's like you can lower your madness levels before it hits max by buying items from the bonfires. So it's like, oh, I
retail
can buy
therapy
more if I'm smart enough.
No, it is exactly like needing to, like, life got a little too depressing, so you have to go buy a special treat from the local shops.
Yeah. And also I think it's good because it incentivizes you thinking more about consumables, which I always wish these games would do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, I have to go buy some consumables from the madness.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting game though. I'm curious to see how it goes as it keeps going. I heard a lot of people say because it has a sphere grid and you get a lot of crazy stuff on all of them, it's like when you get to the New Game Plus cycles, which is very common for Dark Souls games, it gets more fun even because you have a lot more tools at your disposal. So I'm curious to see how that goes.
I mean, I'll admit, like, you saying that it abandons traditional leveling is exciting, just because I think, like, because again, leveling usually falls into like either vertical or horizontal scaling, and I always think it's cooler to get more stuff rather than you just do 5 more damage.
Yeah. Like it's really cool with this too because it's like you get skills on the sphere grid for weapon types, and then you can equip them to any of the weapons in that weapon type. So it's like, oh, I got the whatever, I got a parry. Okay, I know I just said it didn't have parries, but like that much. But like you can equip a parry or whatever onto the longsword as an example, and it's just like, cool. Now I can replace this move with a longsword, or I could just make it a kick that launches me halfway across the arena. It's neat. I like it way more than the Dark Souls weapon art system that they've fallen into, where it just feels like you could use a generic weapon with any weapon art, but realistically that's going to be worse than weapon that has its signature weapon art. Let you have 2 moves per weapon.
Love having moves.
Yeah. Oh, also there's no weight limit.
She's just carrying around all kinds of shit. She's a pirate. She's sticking it in her treasure chest.
I'm really confused about how that works for armor, honestly, because it just makes me think that I should just be wearing like heavy chainmail all the time.
It's going in the treasure chest. I just told you.
I guess so. I don't know what the trade-offs are.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's in the treasure chest. Doesn't.
There is an offering box that you just. I thought that I don't know what it does, but it's like right there at the beginning of the game, and it's like you can just take whatever you want from this, and I'm like, I guess so. Okay.
It was really especially funny in something like Lies of P, because I generally don't wear like super heavy armor, but because that game, like, they're all just like it's just like a generic ring.
Yeah.
I just kind of naturally gravitated toward the heavier stuff because it just seemed like I was punishing myself otherwise. But I have to admit, so much of the Souls stuff is just the fashion game for me. I'm not gonna lie.
I agree. I'm the same way when I play them.
Like, what, you're expecting me to wear the ugliest armor in the game for the stats?
Yeah. It's so hard. It's so hard not to just wear witch outfit.
Witch outfit with 0 defense, almost like it exists to punish you for wearing witch outfit.
And that's how they know that we're the real ones.
No one said fashion was easy.
Suffered more than Jesus for my fashion game, I'm telling you.
It is like being, it is, it's not that much difference for me in real life when it's like I'm going out in the LA heat with goth outfit on. It's really not that different.
Crystal.
Yep.
What else have you been playing? What else is going on in your end?
Kane and Lynch 2, Dog Days, IO Interactive sequel
All right.
to 2007's game, Kane Lynch. I don't know if anyone really likes Kane Lynch 1. Maybe some people do. But Kane Lynch 2 in the early 2010s was like a blogosphere classic. It was kind of up there with like Spec Ops The Line as like shooters that really comments on what it means to be a shooter. And the way Kane and Lynch does this is through a bunch of honestly pretty good um like video processing effects. Like when you shoot someone, it'll put a little pixelization over their body.
Mm-hmm.
The lighting feels like very oppressive. Lights are very bright, a lot of lens flare. The audio is like very unsettling. The gunshots are very loud. The cuts
Listen.
between cutscenes are very disorienting. The camera is very shaky, especially when you run. Um, and this would all probably I would like this a little more if it was like an 80-minute movie and it'd be like, wow, look how violence is being really decontextualized in the age of YouTube. But even though this game is short, it's like 4 hours long. That's too long for
It
this to
doesn't feel
sustain its
like it.
edge. Yeah.
I remember playing Kane and Lynch too. It is. Oh,
It's okay. It's an okay
it's fine.
cover
Yeah.
shooter that has some nice visual ideas, and that is what makes it a 6 out of 10.
I always conflate it with Army of Two
Generous.
in my head. The like second Army of Two game they made for some reason.
Co-op cover shooters were pretty big at this
Yeah.
time.
The Xbox 360 is a bastard's console, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I was really the main disappointment of the game is that after all I heard about how it really deconstructs the violence of shooters, the story's like really bad.
Yeah.
The it would actually be better if it just had no story and it was completely decontextualized violence, you know?
I find that with a lot of games, people say to contextualize violence.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is a strength in, I think, when you're examining stuff like that to really let things speak for themselves.
Absolutely.
I think people have a tendency to say that games recontextualize violence if there's a single character in it who gets sad that violence occurred.
Yeah.
My assessment of Kane and Lynch 2 is that it is a migraine printed to an Xbox disc.
Correct. Yes.
That's very true.
Intentionally so.
It is upsetting to look at very often.
There was like an essay that I watched at one point talking about like games that were intentionally designed to be like ugly by Jacob Geller, and he talked on that game extensively. And I think at one point, like he has an ability to talk with gravitas on like a great deal of things, and I think it's very easy to forget that Kane and Lynch 2 is a game where at once it is extremely hideously ugly, but there is also a scene where you are completely naked running through China covered in microscopic lacerations all over your body while screaming. And they intentionally wanted to evoke the feeling of a snuff film by having the audio blown out at literally all times.
Yep.
So I think like it exists in the same part of my brain as like processing an attack on my nervous system.
It's interesting that Mr. Geller would say it's intentionally ugly because, like, definitely all of the post processing they do is migraine inducing is a good word.
Yeah.
But also, you can tell this is like a high budget AAA game. They put a lot of detail into these environments.
They put a
I-
lot of detail into it with the express intention for you to sprint through it as quick as physically possible.
Yeah.
So they were the forerunner for all of modern gaming.
And also, a spoiler alert for Kane Lynch 2, you dog days heads out there. The game ends with like, because the whole game they make your camera like, they don't literally address them, but they treat the camera of that game like it's being held by like a guy that they just
Yeah.
never show.
Mhm.
And the game ends with titular Kane Lynch getting on a plane and just leaving the camera behind.
Hmm.
And then it just ends and then rolls credits and it gives you nothing.
Alright.
You know, that what year is it? Is it 2011? 10?
2010.
2010? I gotta say, that was the beginning of me. I remember that was around when I got an Xbox 360. I just remember that being like the last year and kind of the start year of like, oh, we're entering hell now of like AAA games being demented. I don't know how else to put it. It's like it was kind of the start of like games weirdly ending and then wanting you to buy DLC and like online. Did Kane Lynch have an online pass that you
I
needed
don't
to
know if
buy?
it had a battle pass. It definitely has a lot of DLC.
So
But like I mean like the buy it new or else you don't get.
Oh, the
This.
multiplayer
that,
pass,
I forgot
yeah.
about that.
You know what I'm talking
God.
about? Like the
Yeah.
Saboteur had the naked women.
Mass Effect 2 had that? Yeah. I don't know if this had that.
So the horrifying thing is that I have played the online multiplayer for those games.
Oh, good.
I can
How was
only
it?
say I may be misremembering. I may be crossing this with Dead Space 2's multiplayer, which also existed at around that
Sure
period,
existed. I sure did a lot of it.
where the game had exclusively open mic and it would be open at all times.
Oh yeah.
So it was the very funny experience of having the game with its already itself audio presentation, and then periodically you would hear what sounded like a guy in a 4-decade-old Xbox mic coughing and it just exploding the server into a hail of reverberated coughs forever.
Video games are so good.
Yeah, sometimes video games are okay.
It's like that Tay clip.
Alright, I guess we gotta go around one more time, and then we can get ready to wrap this up. Rose, hit us with your, I mean, you have two more things, but do you, yeah.
I can do one really quick.
Sure.
One, I started playing Earth Defense Force 5 with one of my girlfriends and a friend, and I had only played like a PS2 Earth Defense Force once. So I was like, wow, we've come so far. Scariest fucking game ever, because every time you finish a mission, a little completion bar goes up next to your name. And we have done like 25 fucking missions, and it's at like 2. And I'm like, oh, this game will last forever. Very fun though, very funny. Love all the voice actors they got. Love all the deliveries. Beautiful game. Beautiful game. Those are all on the PlayStation Plus thing, which is crazy to me. And I also saw that there was like a fucking Earth Defense Force game called like World Brothers. That is a voxel based game.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the voxel one.
Yeah, I love the description for that game when I was looking, that says that it's like, this takes place on a parallel Earth where everything is made of cubes. And I'm like, okay, sure.
What?
But yeah, the game. Do you know what that game really did? I wouldn't want to talk about it too much, but genuinely made me the Joker about every modern multiplayer game. Just in terms of menuing.
Mhm.
In that game, you just create a lobby, your friends join it. In that lobby, you can change your class, change your equipment, change the mission, change the difficulty, change all your settings, change everything. And you can also just hit, all right, we're going to play now. And then when you're in the game, you can also just quit out of the mission at any time and everyone comes back with you. And there's no penalties or anything weird or horrible. Oh my God, I have been playing so much Elden Ring Night Rain. Menus. Everyone is so bad at menus now. Everyone's bad at menus forever. Did you know in Night Rain you can't quit a game? If you quit a game more than 2 times, they fucking ban you. Even if you're playing with friends.
That's too much. That's too much.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's too much.
Ah! So yeah,
Good
I was really appreciating you just play it.
Good UX really goes a long way. It's worth the investment.
It really is, and I think that we are really truly seeing how every game is both simultaneously taking forever and also rushed out the door because of poor project management, and that the UX phase is usually the last one they finish ironing out.
Mhm.
Ugh. But I've also been playing a game called Mushroom Musume, which also has a great UI. That is a raising simulation visual novel. You can find it over on Steam. There's also a free version on itch.io, I believe.
I was going to pull up video of it, but it's making my computer freak out. So I'm sorry, everybody.
Oh well, it doesn't need much video. It's basically a very pixel art driven visual novel. Like everything's pixel art. The idea is basically you are raising a mushroom daughter, and then you play as the mushroom daughter once she has grown up, and navigate this strange world and gain weird traits and do weird storylines that are
That's
all
pretty
different depending on the type of mushroom you are. Like you'll get traits like, oh, hey, you're a hallucinogenic mushroom. So now you're getting all these events where weird people are always trying to ask you to like sell part of your mushroom cap to them because it'll just regenerate. It's fine. And then like maybe you'll start a weird thing, or like, oh, in this one you're like a mushroom that loves reading, so now you become a witch, and now you're doing weird spells and stuff, and you can choose whether to use this for like becoming an adventurer and doing stuff, or you can just use it to constantly manipulate people.
Of course. Or both.
It's really, yeah, I really like it. I like raising sims. Again, Umamusume recently has really like maybe like, oh yeah, I love these games. Like I like Long Live the Princess. I like Princess Maker, stuff like that. This is a really good one of those. I really like the loops for it because it's like the first loop was very deceptive to me, where it made it seem like it was a very simple game because it was like I just didn't manage my meters super good. So it was like both my starting character and my daughter were like they just died pretty fast.
Wow.
But then it's like my second run, I did this whole like Resident Evil style like text adventure, explore a mansion and solve puzzles and do stuff thing, and I was like, this is awesome. It has like this thing where depending on how long your run is and how like how many new events and stuff you do, you get like currency you can use to like manage a little garden to try to tilt what sort of mushroom daughter you're going to get the next run in your favor. Like if you're going for a specific build or something, and you can also roll on a gacha that unlocks different color filters and music tracks and stuff like that can play. It's really charming. I really like it. I think it's really fun if you're into that sort of, if you've been enjoying Umamusume for making the meters go up and doing things and you like reading, this is a great one. I really, really like it. I think it's very charming. I think the writer has a lot of really fun creative ideas and a good handle on prose also, which is very important for me in visual novel stuff.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Someone is saying in the chat that at one point, their wrestling daughter, or their mushroom daughter, got booked into a wrestling league. So
yeah, like you can get involved in so many things like that. Like I was surprised. I really thought that it was going to be like, all right, there's like 6 event permutations, but it like I said, like the type of mushroom daughter you make also like there are generic events that all of them can experience, but then there are like custom ones for their traits they get. And then like the way they can mingle and bounce off of each other. And just like the way like I said, like you can become a witch and then it's like maybe that interfaces with another one of your traits and the events that you would get from that trait, You know, it's interesting. It has a
Mhm.
lot of effort put into it.
All right. Then Lily, what's going on your end? Again, stream. Sorry, I can't pull up trailers right now. I think I might need to upgrade my computer soon because I don't think it can run like streaming this and videos and recording and all. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure something out, I think.
The last thing I have to say is just a quick one. Uh, I recently got a full release copy of the sort of indie RPG Artis Impact.
Okay.
I played the demo of it, and if I could like describe it like real quickly, imagine a turn-based, slightly more light-hearted Near Automata.
Okay.
You're selling
So
me.
like there are towns and shops and like things like that, like more structure than was in the Near universe, but also everything out of the towns is constantly being sieged by horrible robot monstrosities. And the character you play as is like one of the people in charge of like managing these threats, but she's also like really adorable and incompetent in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
Like basically anything that's not violence she's bad at. Like at one point she's so bad at managing her finances despite being the only force that is responsible for stopping AI machines from destroying the town, she has to get a part-time job as like one of those people that hands out tissues. There's that, and also it is so again, I try to be open-minded about like lots of different art styles, and sometimes I've played games where my immediate first response is that's kind of ugly. This is a game which was the first in quite some time where like the visual aesthetic immediately was like, "Oh, I actually really really want to play that." Because it does this really neat thing where it's pixel graphics, but the person who made it is also clearly an illustrator. So they will periodically do like really tight zoom ins that are suddenly like frames of animation. So like instead of her just standing in front of the stove and making a meal, it zooms in and you see her hand illustrated and turning the stove on, and then it zooms back out again.
Mhm.
Oh, I love that shit.
So yeah, I will admit I have not gotten to play it, but I really really loved the demo, and I'm excited to play the full release.
Yeah, I love this. I love the sprite work.
Cool.
Yeah, like it is like one of those things where it's like you can clearly see that they could have gotten away with much much less, but they went all in on some of these sprite animations. Like the main character Akane has like 12 different animations for going to sleep, like for no reason. Like if she has a particularly bad day, she will throw herself on her bed, but usually she will get in bed normally, and there's like a bunch of them.
Mhm. Okay. Sounds cool. I definitely want to check this out for sure.
And also,
I
you know, I'm not immune to the power of silver-haired women.
Of course.
absolutely. I do
Mm.
really like the contrast between the black and white comic style character art and then the like very colorful GBA style environments.
Yeah, like it's like really really bright in a way where it's like it makes your character in the universe almost seem like unnaturally monotone.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Mhm. Crystal, you want to wrap up our what we've been playing conversations here? What's your last little bit of gaming that you've been doing?
Boku no Natsuyasumi 2. Recently finished the fan translation by who did it? One of you knows who did it.
I mean, I can Google it.
The
I
name
don't.
I should know this.
Uh,
Hilltop Works. Great translator. So this game, it's a summer vacation set in the month of August. You play one day at a time. And so I was going to do the experience of I am going to match my gameplay to the real life calendar. I booted it up on August 1st, played that night, had a great time looking at the beautiful pre-rendered PS2 backgrounds, swam a little bit in the water. I met a cat, enjoying the simple life of a young Japanese child on summer vacation. Then I got busy and I haven't played it since. And it just made me reflect on how I've always been bad at keeping to a game schedule like this. It's why
Uh-huh.
I could never really get into Animal Crossing because I would just leave it alone for too long.
I feel it. I have that same problem even though I love these games. It's like, but I feel like what ends up happening is I keep at it for like a good like 2 weeks and I'm doing great, and then once I fall off, it's gone, and I'm too scared to ever go back ever.
It's so easy for the spell to break.
Mhm. What drove you to playing this other than the time frame? Was there anything else like that you were interested in checking out about this game?
The time frame was definitely the push to do it. This is a game that I've always been interested in, though. I like just being in a virtual space generally, and this is a game pretty much all about that.
Mhm. Okay. What have been some highlights of the game so far, you would say?
Um, it's really just meeting the cat because you don't have a ton of time to explore on the first day. I'm not sure exactly how the timer system works, but time will pass as you move along.
Mhm.
And the first day, you've just arrived at like your aunt's house, and you're gonna eat dinner very soon, and then you have to go to bed, and you gotta go to bed early if you want to wake up in time for morning calisthenics. So
As you
there,
are to do.
I was kind of struck by how empty the first night was. It seemed like I was going around and there wasn't much to do, but then when I met the cat, I was like, wow, this is just like meeting a cat in real life.
Mhm. So my roommate's girlfriend, who is also I guess my roommate now too, uh, has two cats, and one of them is a little old lady, got a little bit of an attitude, but she's also a sweetheart. And the other one is the weirdest cat I've ever interacted with my entire life. He's one of those weird ass orange cats, and he constantly switches between wanting to be all up on me and like rubbing up against me and wanting to be petted, and then he'll just start biting me, and then he'll stop and he'll look at me and be like, "What? Why did you let me do that? Huh?" So I've completely fallen for him. I'm gonna be honest with you. He's so like he remind. It's it's embarrassing to say, but like I relate to him because it feels like he really wants affection, but he doesn't know how to get it, and he freaks out about it when he starts to get it. Me too. So I understand him, and I want to try to be, and I want to try to accept him. That's how I feel about that cat. So I don't know. I felt like sharing that because you were talking about cats.
Thank you for sharing that.
All right.
I miss having a fucked up cat. I gotta say right now, I had a deaf cat living with me in Massachusetts. I love that fucking cat. She was the worst ever. I love her so much.
You're just like
Beautiful cat.
hollering all the time, right?
She loved screaming. She loved running around. She was so bad at everything, but she's so sweet also. So it was fine. But she was
Yeah.
so bad at everything.
Yeah, it doesn't really get picked up on the microphone, but I can hear it sometimes. Those cats will just want attention from me. So like if I listen really closely, even with my headphones on, I will just hear like right outside my door when I'm like working or when I'm doing this or whatever. It's just like, no, I'm busy. Me doing that might have even summoned them. Like, I don't know. I might start hearing that in a second because they can be like, "Oh, he's calling us." Okay. Very strange creatures. All right. Well, if there's not anything else that anyone else wants to speak on, games-wise, we can go to questions.
Questions.
You can send a question to podcast@gamesline.net if you want to send an email. I'm gonna double check to make sure that okay, nobody sent any of those. That's fine. Or you can go to our Discord server, gamezone.zone, and there's a little thread in there that'll let you send questions as well. You'll sound like this. Big Challenges asks, if you were on an 8-hour road trip with 3 of the playable characters in the newest Mario Kart, who would you want them to be? Would you be driving or passenger? Shotgun or backseat? For the sake of this hypothetical, it's a 4-seater that is styled to the driver's taste. For example, Wario would have his purple Cadillac from the Wario Land 4 intro. You get to stop for things like meals, snacks, and toilet usage. You have to pick 3 characters from the new Mario Kart, like all those weird side characters. I'm gonna pull up the list of characters in Mario Kart World on the Super Mario Wiki. Let's see. Let me see characters. Okay, here I will link it in our recording server so you all can see the full list of characters.
See, I saw this question actually before we started recording,
Mhm.
and I actually did do a significant amount of thought on this,
That's good.
and I think I have a pretty good idea of who I would pick already.
Okay.
So let me first talk about my classification process. 8 hours for like a road trip, pretty long period of time. So we all know you got to choose carefully. So first of all, first thing that I used to shore down the amount of possible picks is I can't be in a car with anyone who's not wearing fucking shoes.
No Donkey Kong. No Birdo.
Like, I have been in road trips where people will just start taking their shoes off because they've been in the car for too long.
It gets bad.
You gotta put them things away. I can't be doing that while I'm driving.
Okay, well, hang on.
Put them out the window.
If their feet are always out, would that be a difference?
Then it's worse.
Though? Okay, so you think it'd be worse?
That would probably make it worse. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, like, next question. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, but next question. How do you feel about like the sidestepper who's just got like the little? Do you think that would count? Do you think they would be stinky?
I mean, I think most like sea creatures. No offense to the sea creatures listening. Most sea creatures are kind of stinky, like by default.
Okay.
Maybe that's a bias. Maybe I could find a nice smelling fish at some point, but I doubt it. But I think my picks are as follows. And I hope I'm not cheating by picking from the unlockable drivers.
I think you're good. That's fine.
So, first of all, I would be driving because well, one, I learned how to drive, and so I need to make that sacrifice to my mental health worth it. But I'm also one of those people who I need to have the ability to control the car.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know that the person who organizes the road trip needs to be like a little bit of a dictator about what we're going to do. Because if you try to get 4 people all to agree on what we're going to do, you're never going to plan anything. So you just need to say, this is what we're going to do. Yeah. And I think I'm suited for that role. Second, the other pairing down here is that I listen to music that could be loosely described as evil homosexual nonsense music. Mm-hmm. So I need to pick people who would A, explicitly be okay with that, and B, could ostensibly, tolerate my idiosyncrasies while driving. Mm-hmm. So My picks are I'd pick Rosalina because we naturally need to have that kind of nurturing force because you have multiple people in a car who need to be taken care of, and I think she'd be well equipped for that. She seems like she has the personality for that, especially taking care of all the Lumas and stuff.
Rosalina seems like the kind of person who's got Tylenol in her purse, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, this may be like metagaming here a little bit, but I also picked Dry Bones because one, Dry Bones always generally seems to be having a good time. Like he may
Yeah.
shatter, but he always puts himself back together.
Mm-hmm.
And generally speaking, you need that kind of moral, and like mental flexibility on a car ride. You got to be willing to put yourself together again. And 8 hours, especially if you're driving in the continental United States, that's going to bring you through some tolls. That's going to bring you through some positions where you're going to need money. And I trust the coin coffer to keep everything I have in order in this car.
Mm.
If I'm driving through the toll booth and I suddenly need to have paper money, he's got me.
Mm-hmm.
If I suddenly need my driver's license for some reason, I'm sure he'll keep hold of it. He may run away from me, but we are also contained in a vehicle, so that's less of a concern.
That's true. Okay.
So those are those picks, yes.
How about you, Rose? Who are your picks?
All right, Monty Mole, because I love moles. Think it's fucking awesome. He's cool as hell. I think he's just gonna chill.
Mhm.
He's just gonna chill. I'm gonna be honest. He's just gonna fucking chill. Maybe
Yeah,
he'll throw a
he's
wrench at someone who's annoying me. I
Well,
don't know.
that's not true. Well, Rocky Wrench is a separate character, so I don't. So
That's
he,
true.
yeah.
But like the Monty Mole throws shit, right? Doesn't he? I don't know. I guess he just runs. I guess Monty.
Yeah,
Yeah, Rocky Wrench is okay.
Just like
Well,
jumps
Monty
up.
Mole, I'm sticking with that. Monty Mole will just be chill.
Mhm.
All right, Swoop also crazy chill. I'm not
A
gonna
bat?
lie, Swoop.
Hmm.
Yeah. I was torn between Swoop or Rosalina, but I want to be different.
Okay.
Swoop. I think Swoop will just be chill like that. Again, both of these fellows will not take up that much space.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna keep it real with you, King Boo. Worst case, you could just go inside him.
Do you think he's like floating?
Doesn't take up space. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And who's driving? Are you driving?
I can't drive, so I'm gonna give it to Monty Mole. I trust him with my life.
Okay. Monty Mole seems like you'd be a very safe driver. You know, like
That's what I'm saying, right? It's exactly right. Like,
Don't moles have terrible vision though?
yeah, but clear he's able to drive in Mario Kart, so clearly he's trained.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's gotten
So-
lace.
If
Yeah.
anything, I would believe that he's taking it slow so he can pay attention more, and that's important to me, and will also help me with my car sickness that I always get.
Crystal, how about you? Do you have a choice?
So I definitely have to be driving because I tend to get car sick as a passenger.
Mm-hmm.
I think Nabbit's got to be in the back seat so that when we make a pit stop at a gas station, he can steal some snacks for us.
All right, I like that.
I think I'm also gonna put Sidestepper on the back seat because Krabs is cute.
Okay.
It's true.
And then I guess I'll have Pauline next to me singing songs.
Based on the new lore we have, I guess she could also make you go Super Saiyan or whatever.
That's fucking true. Yeah, holy shit. You could your road trip will be faster because you could just start going, "Oh, zebra, zebra," and you'll just fly down the road. All right, John's pick here. I'm gonna be honest. I'm thinking a little selfishly here with this one. I kind of just want to ride in the Koopa Clown car, so I'd be down to have Bowser drive us in the Koopa Clown car. I don't know. Does that thing have like more seats than one? You know, like can you fit somebody in there? Because like when he's like grabbing Peach, you know, he's just like holding her up. You know, so I guess like I don't want to be like.
Well, listen, Bowser's a family man now. He needs to accommodate for the other, like as a single father, he needs to have the car seats and everything.
Well, Junior's got a
Needs-
clown car too. He's got his own clown car.
What if he has the Mercedes Benz from Mario Kart 8 that they had? Those real ass cars.
Okay. Then yeah, if he's just got a normal ass car, then I mean, sure. But I mean, I do also just want to ride around in the clown car is the problem. Like, that is the main reason why I would pick Bowser. But also, you know, he's probably got money. You know, he's got his own kingdom, so he could get a nice car and be nice and smooth to ride. And yeah, I guess since I'm going with Bowser, I wouldn't want to leave Junior behind. I'd feel bad. He's a nice kid. I think he'd be fine to be on a long car ride. You know, you'd look over and he'd be sleeping, and you'll be like, "Aw, cute." And then I think it would be funny to have a. I think they should put a Cheep in there because it would just be really funny to have a fish like flopping around and oh, no, that would be horrible. We'd probably get in a car accident. Okay, all right. You know what? Actually, I'm looking at this. I'm tossing this out. I'm just gonna say, I think I want the Hammer Bro to drive. For some reason, I'm looking at the Hammer Bro. That is the safest driver ever. Like,
he's giving off instructor vibes.
Does not take his eyes off the road for a fucking second. Not for a second. He runs that car like the Navy. No kicking, no, trying to pass him a drink or whatever. No, he is dead set. Absolutely. Yeah. Hammer, yeah, 10-2, boom, boom, right there. Not fucking around. Respect it. Hammer Bro would be really safe for sure. I mean, I don't know. I feel a little bad just like completely throwing it out. Man. I feel like Luigi would be kind of chill on a car ride too. Like I don't think he needs to be driving, but Luigi just seems like he'd be the kind of guy who would bring like those like transportation like board games, like the mini versions of stuff, and oh man, yeah, he's got like all of them. He'd be so ready for a road trip. I can just tell. Like I look at that guy, and Luigi has a copy of Katana in his house. Like there's no fucking question about that to me. And I mean, just the dolphin. Put the dolphin in there. I want to see what the dolphin.
That's better than the fish for you.
I think it's better than the fish because like I was coming at it from like it's funny to have a fish like flopping around in a car, but then I was like, no, that would actually probably be a nightmare. But the dolphin's chill, and also Luigi and the dolphin could like chat about what all went down behind the scenes during the filming of Mama Luigi, and I would give anything to be a fly on the wall for that. So I would love to sit, I think I would want to be shotgun there in the back, just chatting about the old days, talking about, oh man, that was crazy when I thought I wasn't gonna make it, and then the dolphin's just like, yeah, no man, don't worry about that. I grabbed you. We got it. We made it. It's all good. I'd give anything for that. I would. And Hammer Bro just 10-2. Next question is from Maverick. Maverick says, I'm at a Visual K prom right now. Repping in the classic...
That's great.
Yep. Repping the classic Triforce green shirt and khakis. Okay. I'm also thinking about the old Fangamer shirts I had before they went corporate. What are some classic pieces of gamer merch that you either owned or wished you had growing up? I still wear quite a bit of gamer merch these days. Mostly stuff from like the Yeti. They're pretty good. Like their shirts could be a little better quality. Like the actual shirts are fine. It's just the design falls off after a while. But man, yeah, Fangamer. Because I was a Mother fan too, so they had a bunch of stuff that I still have the shirt, but it is ratty as hell. I would love for them to release it again because I would like to get a new one. Is this the New Pork City shirt, or is the parody of the I Heart NY shirt, but it was the pig nose? I love that shirt. I would love to get another one of those. But the worst one that I had, the absolute worst one, I think about this every couple of weeks, that I was like, I wore this all the fucking time. Was do you all remember the website Heylols, which was basically iFunny, but video games specifically?
No, but that sounds fascinating.
Well, they sold a shirt that was Lewis from Left 4 Dead, and it was like the Obama like hope poster, but it was him and making a face, and it said Peels under it because everyone was like, yeah, he says pills funny in Left 4 Dead. And I wore that
shirt for that.
I wore that shirt. Yeah.
I mean, that's what else is being a teenager about, I suppose.
I mean, there's probably like, you know, like, I mean, being honest, like, not from me, but like I don't know. I remember having to explain it to a teacher at one point, because he was just like, John, what does that mean? What political statement are you trying to make here? Like, is it could be racist, because this could be like some kind of like weird dig at Obama, because like it's, you know, like whatever. And I was just like, no, the guy just says pills funny in the game, and that's kind of it. Yeah, they thought that it was just, yeah, they thought it was racist drugs, which, I mean, honestly was probably a valid worry. Not for me specifically, like that I was expressing that, but just that the shirt was expressing that. But yeah, that's probably the dumbest gamer merch item that I had and that I wore kind of often. But yeah, like I would say, like these days it's like Yeti stuff, where it's just like, oh, this is like just good art that an artist made, and like the Yetis very specifically, like we have artists, we are hiring them, we are paying them, we are selling these for like a day or whatever, but there's some good stuff on there. Like I have a great Cosmos shirt, you know, with like her Xenoblade 2 design, Pepsi Man shirt. They got some cool stuff. How about you, Crystal? You kind of, I don't know if you don't seem the type to be a game t-shirt wearer. Was that something you ever did?
You have identified me correctly. I have always, even in my teenage years, been resistant to the idea of like advertising my interests through my clothes. I did receive a classic Zelda Triforce shirt as a gift, which I have never worn.
Was this a recent gift, like as a joke, or was this like as a youth and, you know, someone was like, oh, this is something that you would explicitly like?
It's a recent gift. It
Okay.
was like, you know, my grandma was like, "Hey, you like that game, right?"
So, okay, so it's a mixture. Okay. Yeah, I got a phone call recently from my mother, which I'm honestly kind of glad that she did this, because last couple of shirts she's bought me, I've just put away. I've never worn them. Like she bought me like a Bob Ross shirt a couple of months ago, and I was just like I appreciate Bob Ross, but there's also all that stuff that's been going on with his likeness and everything, and but also I'm not really gonna like wear a shirt for Bob Ross. Like I'm not like a Bob Ross fan, capital F. And she just called me and was like, John, I'm at the Old Navy, and they have Pikachu on a shirt. Do you still like the Pikachu? And I was just like, I mean, technically, like, and I just kind of was just, I was just like, Ma, like, just, you can just get me, like, blank shirts now. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You know, like, I'll get my dweeb shirts myself. You know, like, I appreciate it, but we're good. And, you know, she was trying her damnedest, and I respect it, but it was just so funny just being like, is that what, you still like that? You're turning 31, you know, it was like for her birthday, like she sends me like shirts and stuff from her birthday. So she was like, yeah, you know, you're 31 now. You still like that? And I'm like, yes, Mom, I do. And that's just what you're gonna have to deal with. And no, I know that the holidays are coming up. A woman is not coming back with me. Probably never will. So there you go. You can send me a Pikachu shirt if you want. Sometimes I actually do have a Pikachu shirt that I like. I'm not a Pikachu guy. I don't care much for Pikachu, but there is a Pikachu shirt that I have that is really. Crystal, I guess then I would just ask you, is there anything that you wish you had, or maybe a concept of a shirt that you or piece of clothing from a game that you would want to have?
I could. Pokemon is definitely the direction I would go if I was gonna be having gamer wearables.
Mhm.
Maybe like a jacket with a Zapdos on the back.
Ooh, that sounds pretty. I do gotta hop on Uniqlo. They got some cool stuff on there. Uniqlo has always got some cool stuff, but that's a cool idea too. Rose, how about you? What's your new concept here? What kind of gamer wear do you have?
I don't really have that much. I have a couple shirts I've gotten off the Yeti over the years whenever there was a pretty good artist or something, but most of them have vanished into the ether or disintegrated, as you said.
Mhm.
I have some old Pokemon things. I think that's like the only thing I have that are pretty good, which is I have like a little tin that's like a Pokeball tin. And it has like Pikachu on it, and it's very Gen 1 early ass Pikachu all over it. So it looks
Fat
pretty
Pikachu.
good, true to the anime. A little fat.
Okay.
I wouldn't say like, but better than the modern one.
So like chubby from the anime, like not like round ass Pikachu from like the original Sukamori art. Yeah, okay.
I'll take a picture for you while I'm continuing to talk because it's right here in front of me.
Okay.
And I also have a little. Eri gave me. My girlfriend gave me a Pokemon Yellow version, like carrying case for a Game Boy Color.
Oh, is it like
pristine.
the big yellow one?
Yep.
Pikachu on. I had that as a kid. That's great. I remember that.
It is like in perfect condition. It astounded me when she gave me it because she was like, I don't really need it. And I was like, this is normal. I need to repurpose it at some point for something cuter because it's great. It looks so retro, for lack of a better term.
If I remember correctly, I think you can just like take the compartments out.
You can, yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember, I think I started using it to just like, you know, when I was a kid, you know, I was using it to carry my Game Boy around, but then eventually I was just like, I'm just gonna stuff this full of Yu-Gi-Oh cards and walk around with it. Like I was just doing that, you know, like just swinging them around, probably like, you know, like expensive ass cards that I had pulled that I didn't know the worth of, you know, just banging them up. But no.
Other than that, I don't really think I have anything else. I was never a huge having items. I have some old Poké dolls from like before Nintendo World was just the Pokemon Center.
Mm-hmm.
It was just Pokemon Center. I got some of those shipped from there, and then other than that, I just have like the Proto Men, the band. I have a bunch of old shit from them around.
Mm-hmm. Also, I will say, I don't know if all of them do this, but I do think that some of the artists from the Yeti, like, after their stuff is run, I think some of them will, like, list their designs on, like,
Redbubble they're old ones.
Yeah. Which I might have to get on that, because, like I said, my Cosmos shirt is starting to wear off a little, so I think I might like buy like 2 of them or something just so I have in perpetuity or something, you know, I don't know. We'll see. Lily, how about you? What is your gamer merch outfit choices of choice?
So I think it's more of like a departure from the norm, but like uh earlier on in my life, I have to confess like a dark secret. Uh I was not one with the gamer merch in terms of clothing. I was very much uh the I regret to inform all of you that I was in fact a scene girl when I was in school.
What the
So
heck?
I was wearing the super obnoxious like neon colored band shirts. That was my realm.
Sure.
I'd somewhat similar when I was there, also.
Um but I have one thing, and it honestly only occurred to me as we were recording this. But the one piece of merch, and I still have it to this day, other than like I have like a power level ass like ultra kill shirt with the flesh prison on it because
I mean, hell
of
yeah.
course. But I have uh Titus's ring with Jex's logo on it.
Damn.
And I don't know how I have this per se. I know my uncle gave it to me because he knew I was like a massive freak about Final Fantasy because of his own machinations in shaping my childhood. I don't know where he got this from. Like it is like the exact ring that Titus like wears around his like neck on a chain. I don't know if like cuz like this was like not a period where you could just look up any old item concept and just buy it off AliExpress. So I don't know how he came across this, but just one day I just remember being like, basically like the equivalent of like how your child brain interprets like the coolest person you know, where he's just like, "Here you go, little buddy," and just hands me a ring. So I still have it. I also have a story about uh like have you ever seen someone wearing like gamer merch in public and like maybe like you haven't felt compelled to talk to them, but you're also like, oh yeah, I quietly know a little bit about that person's story.
Mhm.
So when I was living out in California, there's a grocery chain called Ralph's. And this was around the point where Saints Row 3 was new and they were doing like a massive marketing push by selling like really stupid, irreverent shirts. And I remember the exact moment. It was summertime in Pasadena, California,
Mhm.
and we were walking through the parking lot. And I look up and I see, and I'll describe in too much detail so you understand that this is the truth. A single mother with 4 kids carrying 6 bags of groceries. Like she refused a cart for some reason. She had 3 in each hand. She was like flexed up on this. And I look and she's wearing a bright purple like fleur de lis like Saints Row shirt, and in massive impact font it just said I heart rim jobs on it. And
Beast
I just
mode.
had to like, and I was walking with my mother. My mother was right next to me, and I was just staring at this poor woman because, again, she had all of her kids and she was like herding her kids through the parking lot with this shirt on. And I just remember just being like, my God, people older than me are human beings. All right.
Peace and love on planet Earth.
And it was just the surreality of randomly seeing the least likely person wearing a piece of merch that seems like a bad idea to wear in a grocery store around all your children, for one. But I just remember it, and it will always be stuck in my head as like a game merch memory, and that's my story. So yeah, it's the Jectoring from Final Fantasy X. That's the end. Thank you for listening. Thanks.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. And
I have an obligation to make sure every time I'm on, the episode goes longer than 3 hours, and everyone has to pee by the end.
I mean, yeah, drank this whole thing, so that's how it goes. All right, well, thank you so much for listening, everybody. This has been going on for a while, so we are gonna wrap up here. If you enjoy what we're doing, we have a website. It's gamesline.net. And that's also what our username is on Blue Sky, if you want to follow us on there. We have a Tumblr, gamesline.tumblr.com, and our streams are posted on YouTube, youtube.com/@thegamesline. If you missed any of this, or if you want to watch it again, or if you want to leave a comment and say that this was the worst episode yet, or this is the best episode yet, or this was a fine episode, but I don't really care that much about it, you can say whatever you want about it. It's fine. And if you're listening later, if you're listening on YouTube or your podcast catcher of choice, try to come by Sunday at around 5 CST, 6 EST, twitch.tv/GameslineTV. You know, we're trying to get it going. It takes a little bit, but I'll try to get on earlier. If you like what we're doing, you want to support us, it's patreon.com/gamesline. Give us $3 a month. You get access to our anime podcast, Unlimited Rail, works a whole week early. And maybe other stuff in the future. We'll figure it out. I'm not going to promise anything. Because every time I try to promise something, it doesn't happen. So I'm just not going to lie to you anymore. And Discord. The GameZone.zone. Type that into your web browser and it'll bring you straight there. You can come hang out with us, tell us what to do, tell us what not to do. The world is your oyster. And thank you to Melt Channel /Magic Circuit for a theme song Crush off of the album Magic's Real. If you want to listen to their stuff, it's meltchannel.bandcamp.com or magic-circuit.bandcamp.com. And I highly recommend you support them on the first Friday of every month. That's Bandcamp Friday. And they get the full cut of the funds. Rose, where can people find you?
Over on Blue Sky, mainly fatamorgana.bsky.social. Also still Horngal on Twitter sometimes.
How about you, Crystal?
You can find me on Blue Sky at arcanecrystal.bsky.social.
Okay. And how's your other podcast stuff going? Your Eidolon.
That's true. Speaking of women pirates of the 17th century, those are the main characters of my little actual play series that I'm GMing and producing called Eidolon Islands.
And where can people check that out?
A wave.
Where can people check that out?
Audioentropy.com or any podcatcher of your choice. Search for Eidolon Playtest.
It just said you're starting a wave.
I'm starting a wave, yeah. Need more pirates.
Yeah.
Pirates are often on waves.
Pirates are kind of epic for the win.
They can be. Lily, how about you? Where can people find you?
I can be found at Galilus.shira at bluesky.com. And I promise I'll be having an article together on the Gamesline website where you can find that shortly. You can find me there also.
Wonderful. And you can find me at john.gamesline.net. That's the website that I'm posting on for the most part. And you know, I crazy thing is if you type in john.gamesline.net into your browser, you can actually just pull out all my articles and stuff on Gamesline. Isn't that neat?
Nice.
Yeah. We could actually probably get that set up for everybody if y'all want. I think we'd have to talk to Scott about that. He knows it more than I do. But you know, an option. Alright, well that will do it, everybody. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll be back next week with another episode of the Gamesline podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.